Wyoming is an isolated, cold state, and I want to know if I can win a championship there in just 10 seasons. They've been in the Mountain West since 1999, yet they've never even won a conference championship. And this past season, they had a snow game on October 4th. It's cold and it's far away from things, so I'm only going to be allowed to go after 1- and 2-star recruits outside of 3 wildcard players every season, which means winning a national championship in just 10 years will be very challenging. Now, you would think it would help we're in the new Mountain West, but it is a weak conference, so it's going to be harder to recruit talent and to retain it, because it's not like our school grades have very attractive pitches unless a guy just enjoys getting playing time or hunting out in the wild. I will say, as I just skimmed through the roster, there are a couple of solid players here that could help us, though our quarterback room has a lot of problems because none of these guys have good dev traits and every single one of them meets a deal breaker, so that's not ideal. So like expected, what I'm learning is a lot of the guys on our team are going to want to transfer. There's actually a 4-star from Wyoming as well, but he cares about conference prestige. No reason to even waste resources on him. And as I'm sitting here looking at our team needs, trying to figure out what we want to do for this first recruiting class, let me go over these recruiting restrictions. Like I said, I can only go after 1- and 2-star prospects, but we do get 3 wildcard players that can be any star rating every season. So although most of our board is going to be filled with 2-star players that want to play for us, in fact, there's only 4 that do, we do have those few other players that we can get. I don't know if I'd rather them be like 3-star transfers, or we could try and sign a 4 or 5-star this season. There's this receiver from Colorado. He's interested in playing for us. No 2-stars really want to come here, but for whatever reason, Tobias Bars does for the playing time. So as long as he's got some speed on him, 89, I feel like that's going to be a lot better than the 2-stars we're going after. We're going to probably target him. Again, though, we are recruiting in a cold, isolated state, so a lot of these deal breakers are just going to cause players to want to transfer anyway. If we get lucky, like with Diego, they're not going to have a single deal breaker. And that means if we can get a kid like Diego, he is stuck in Wyoming forever. He cannot leave us, which would be amazing. Looks like he's going to come in with 87 speed. I'd take that for a 2-star. But the point is, until we can win a Mountain West championship and have no recruiting restrictions, building out our classes is going to be a big challenge. Unless we want to offer a 1- or 2-star recruit playing time the second they step on campus as a true freshman, it's very hard to convince them to join Wyoming. And I don't really have room to be picky for the guys we're going after. Look at these 2-star receivers. They are so slow. This is why for these first few seasons, I'd much rather worry about what we're doing on the field than anything else. I want to play our first game of the season. And I've picked up a new favorite way to play games in rebuilds to force us to still build a good roster that can actually win. I have to sim to the 4th quarter, whatever the score is, take over from there. And I just can't believe what I'm seeing. We're working with a team that has scored 3 points in 3 quarters. Getting a 3rd down stop here is crucial, but they got us with the read option. And I don't think we're going to stop him on this run. How is this quarterback almost as fast as our DBs? Of course, a couple of plays later, they got a touchdown. So we are in a horrendous spot. And it's 4th and long. It won't even show it at the bottom of the scoreboard. But just know, we need a miracle here, and they're making play on the ball. I mean, what do you want me to do? This team isn't any good. We have 10 seasons to bring a national championship to Wyoming. We are starting at the bottom. And when I was able to make my impact on the game, it did nothing. I have to say, I do find it pretty disgusting. This many 2-stars have immediately locked us out from going after them as well. Diego was the running back that we wanted. But for whatever reason, even Northwestern offered him a scholarship. I think there's going to be some more competition for some of these 2-stars like San Diego State, who just beat us on the field too. You know, I can at least hope that we beat Akron the following week. Typically, the Zips are awful at football. But for whatever reason, we didn't even do that. They scored 42 points on our defense. I don't know what to do. I'm not going to hype up quarterback Brian Fowler or Caden Anderson. Both of them care about pro potential. They're transferring at the end of the year. And then it hit me. What we need to save Wyoming is finding a wild card player at quarterback. And that's what we got with this 4-star. Eric cares about playing time. We can give him that here. I don't know what his stats are. I don't care what his stats are. He has to be better than the 2-star options we would have. Tobias Bars is going to be a hard receiver to win over, but if we could pair Tobias with Eric, that's a solid offense. Most of the old best teams from the Mountain West have departed to the Pac-12, which is why I feel like we could win this conference with just a few wildcard players. But it's a long season. We don't know who else is going to come into the picture, and I can only imagine how many guys on this current roster are going to depart at the end of this year. We are really competing for some of these 2-stars as well, Colorado State being a pain with a better pipeline and even scheduling George Hawkins for a visit. The kid literally is 81 speed, and they're just salivating, something. They are very thirsty for him. And do you know what I'm thirsty for? Outside of K. Adams, not crazy to say. I'm thirsty for a win with this Wyoming team. To my surprise, we have a lead going into the 4th quarter. They better not pick this up on 3rd down. And they didn't, but of course they're going to go for it here. So we're going to try and bring guys down into the box in case they run. It's a passing play. We're watching the hitch. We get the interception with Singleton. he can't take that all the way back, of course. But the Cowboys are in prime position to be able to close out this game. We just need a good drive here. I don't know if Caden Anderson's fast or not, but he's not going to have to pull this read option. We'll hand it off. And I guess this time he is going to keep it while losing 2. How fast do we think Fitzgerald is, though, in the slot? It's going to be cover 3. We're going to have to force it into that window. We're short. But do you know what we scheme up here in Wyoming? Could we punt it back to Fresno State? We could. But are they expecting us to go for it? Wide open lane for Harris to take. That's exactly what we were looking for. Now Harris gets us 7. And I'm starting to wonder how many Harrises we got on this roster. Gonna have to drag underneath. Durr turns upfield. He can also juke to the 14, the 13, the 12. And honestly, boys, I'm just in a good mood. I got an ear infection the other day. Wasn't having a great time with it. They started shooting water into my ears. I learned a life lesson. Apparently, those Q-tips that your mom always told you to use to clean out your ears and get the wax out of them when you were younger, you're not supposed to ever use in your life. It shoves the wax deeper in there, and so I just had a bunch of wax stuck. They had to use some water method to get it out. That's a dot, by the way. Whenever I'm telling stories, I promise I always play so much better on this game. But anyway, they hyped up this whole procedure like I was about to be going through it. And I don't know why. It wasn't painful at all. Now, I did get some water stuck in there, which felt a little weird. But outside of that, it all drained out in the last 24 hours. And they pulled out some chunks of stuff that would probably make you throw up if you saw them. I know a lot of y'all watch my videos while you're eating, so don't want to put that image into your head. But I kind of just did. It was disgusting. Point is, don't use those Q-tips and shove your wax deeper into your ear if you don't want to feel an infection at some point. They got a touchdown. They're not getting the 2-point conversion. And so with an onside kick recovery, we're going to get a win with Wyoming. To fully finish the job, we just need 1 first down. And I think we're going to get there. But we're still not done yet. Look at that little crowd, by the way, up there in the stands that came out to Fresno State for this game to see us win. We appreciate the fans that travel. I can't imagine it's easy even getting to an airport with a lot of direct flights in Wyoming. But maybe it is. Maybe it's easy to travel there. It doesn't sound like it would be. And this is a completely different state, but I saw it on Twitter after Montana State won the FCS championship this year. The inside of the airports in Montana, I assume they look like this in Wyoming as well, are beautiful. Well, it turns out Ben Willis was impressed by our win over Fresno State. We got our first 2-star commit. But I have some bad news. Memphis has entered the battle for Eric Barbieri, so we might not get the 4-star quarterback. We are going to schedule a visit week during week 10. Tobias Bars is going to be there as well. It'll be against Colorado State, who is one of our rivals. And they're such a pain. I think they're about to take away a 2-star receiver from us. However, our response to that was signing 4-star receiver Tobias Bars using one of our 3 wildcard spots. So I really don't care if George Hawkins goes to Colorado State. He's not going to enjoy it there, and maybe he'll even transfer to our program in a couple seasons. As for the other 2 4-stars, Miles Kipper and Eric Barbieri, Memphis pulled out of him, so we got a good chance at landing the 4-star quarterback again. But ever since our win against the Bulldogs, our team's not been doing too well. We've lost 4 straight games headed into this one against our rivals. And this is the battle for the bronze boot. I assume this is the biggest deal and the most important game to Wyoming fans. The logo is sick. I don't know if there's a trophy, but if there's a trophy of that shoe, that's even better. But to make sure we were ready for this game, everybody on the team had to have Huel, which has been my lunch go-to since the start of 2026. I went into the year with goals like any other year, but knowing how much what you eat contributes to that, even though I stay really busy, I couldn't have excuses again. Instead of just skipping lunch or eating something that I shouldn't, now I drink Huel, who's also today's video sponsor. Now, they have a couple of options. If I just want an instant meal, I'll just grab a Huel Black Edition ready to drink out of my mini fridge and not step upstairs for a second. But most days, I go up there, fill up my bottle with some water and ice, get 2 scoops of the chocolate flavor, which is my favorite so far in there, and then shake it up to get it mixed, which really only takes like a minute or 2, but sometimes I am so locked into rebuilding a team, and that is when I just grab one of these. Normally, though, I am putting these Huel Black Edition powders down, and I like them so much due to being just 400 calories while coming with 40 grams of protein and also the fiber. Don't sleep on that. If you don't have much time to think about lunch like me and you want to give them a shot, use my code BOARD for 15% off of orders $50 plus. That's for new customers only, like the deal they got for a shaker and a shirt, so either click the first link in the description or scan my QR code to get started. And now that we're fueled up, we're ready to play. And since this is a rivalry, if we're not able to win this game, we lose so many hours and effort into the guys that are visiting. We will not stand a chance at signing those 4-stars if we lose. You know, when the stakes are that high, it's really anticlimactic to make it to the fourth quarter and currently be up the way that we are, but we still have to be able to stop the Rams. 6.5 minutes is plenty of time for them to pull off a comeback still. Make that tackle, going to be 4th and 2. Their running back number 2 looks absolutely massive compared to their quarterback, so they're going to hand it off to him. We are not getting to the outside. And we better not be choking this one away on 3rd and short. Just made that throw in time. I'm trying to think of any other stories I got from recently just so we can lock in and finish this out. I can't think of anything too crazy, though. There was a frozen squirrel at the end of my driveway the other day. Sent my dad a picture of it. He said it was a chipmunk, whatever the difference is between the two. Anyway, the poor guy was just frozen in time. It was crazy because typically you get close to the squirrels. You want to see them up close, but then they just start running away. Not this one, though. I was staring him down. It was really neat to be able to see him up that close. Then you got to put him into the forest. I think it just got that cold in Kentucky that he froze to death, which makes me wonder how they live anyway. Like for the squirrels and chipmunks up in Minnesota, where it gets even colder, what happens to them during this time of year? They can't hibernate like birds. They're not traveling across the country down to Florida, so do they all just freeze or what? Also got a family of deer that like to hang out. That's pretty neat. You get into the driveway around 10 p.m. at night and they're just greeting you there. Can we hit this field goal and just end this game, please? I hope that has enough power. It does. But I don't know if this is just a me thing or a guy thing. What I like to do, hang on, getting that pick to end this game. But what I like to do if I see an animal out in the wild is I like to take a picture of it from afar, and then I like to creep up as close as I can get to it before it starts to run away. I even did this in Florida with gators. Surprisingly, they would also always run away, so I guess I'm lucky in that case, but I think they're scared of humans. That's at least my theory on it. There is a golden or bronze boot. It's the bronze boot. We got to lift the trophy of the bronze boot. And you know what? We might be awful, but I'm considering this first season a major win. We won't be using the transfer portal to sign any wildcard players because we are going to sign 3 4-stars straight out of high school. Eric is so close to committing. But if we don't close out this season winning all 4 of our last games, we're not going to be bowl eligible. Again, though, I really don't care because we have just trapped a quarterback at Wyoming for the next 4 seasons that's going to play any second that he can. And it's starting to look like we're just going to lose every single game that we simulate. Now, I know I've only really talked about our 3 wildcard players because those are the guys I'm most excited for, but we are filling up the rest of our board with other 2-stars that want to play for us. If other schools enter the battle, all we're going to do is just send the house on them. And that is my plan to finish this season strong. We're doing a little extra scouting on other 2-stars. I just don't like the deal breakers that I'm seeing. As we look to close out this first season, the Miners held us to just 3 points, but then we beat Nevada on the road the next week. We close out the year with a rivalry game, and I could not tell you why Hawaii and Wyoming are rivals. It doesn't make much sense to me. They are probably like 8 or 10 hours apart minimum, and that's by plane. They beat us 35-29, so not ideal. But throughout this season, we've earned 100 coach points. I guess we're going to be a motivator for this rebuild. I feel like everything is so balanced. There's not like a specific tree I would want to go down for any position. I mean, the only thing I really care about is talent developer, but in order to unlock that, you have to put 2 first-rounders into the NFL, so I just have to be realistic. We're probably not doing that at Wyoming with auto progression on, so we can roll with the slight motivator boost instead. I'm curious what type of coordinators we can get. We are going to open up these jobs. This is something I like to do, and every so often it has a chance to work out well. Major Applewhite is our offensive coordinator target. He is a strategist. This would allow us to retain some of our talent a bit better. While on the defensive side of things, all of these guys are horrendous, so we're just going to wait and see if anybody better comes up. While we're waiting, might as well talk about our season stats. Sophomore Caden Anderson, 19 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He is most likely transferring away, so not too worried about that. Also at a senior running back, rushed for 518 yards. But literally all of these guys, I'm seeing their deal breaker met. Does nobody care about playing time? This is just what it's like to root for a smaller school in the current college football landscape, though. You get invested in a player, all for him to have a good year, and then transfer somewhere else immediately, which I'm hoping we don't have to deal with too much in this rebuild. Major Applewhite accepted our job offer. Now for the defensive coordinator position, can we please just get something better? I've waited until the very final week. Aaron Watson is still there, even though he's in the running for some head coach jobs. I really can't imagine schools like Rutgers are going to offer him a job anyway, so we're going to offer him. This person is not eligible. Error hiring or firing. I've never been rejected like that before on this game, but maybe we're going to be stuck with Andy Thompson. He doesn't get the people going. Taking a look at this college football playoff bracket, it's not even updated. EA, this is the state of the game right now. I can't even see past conference championship week. I just don't understand how this stuff happens. Truth is, though, if you ever run into bugs like that, just restart the game. It'll fix it. Like 75% of the time. I'm not promising it'll always work, but now we can see that Georgia won it all. I was kind of dreading this next stage, players leaving, because we know that a lot of guys are going to be leaving the Cowboys. A team that went 3-9, we just got 2 stars to replace them. I don't think we're getting any better. And on the few players we could convince to come back, Justin Taylor's just going to leave us next season anyway. He cares about conference prestige, but we have a decent chance at convincing him. Might as well take it. I also didn't realize that we had a graduating class of like 30 players on top of the 25 guys transferring, so this roster just lost about 60 guys. We are absolutely cooked. We are fried. We're recruiting 2 stars that Cal is stealing from us. I just got to close out these battles. And I guess we could look at 2-star transfers in the portal as well. I'm just not sure what overall they come in at, so this will be a test. Currently, it says Lacey's going to have 85 speed as a running back, so I don't think he's going to be good for us. But we'll find out pretty shortly. We were able to close out the battle for him and basically every 2-star on our board. As we check the dev traits of them, basically all of them are going to be normal, but we did find a couple of defenders that have impact. That's actually a big deal when you're going after 2 stars. And what I'm most interested in is our 3 wildcard players that weren't 1 or 2-star recruits. Tobias Bars is going to have impact. We have normal on our linebacker and normal on Eric Barbieri. I'll tell you right now, that is not good news for us. Our recruiting class was just outside the top 100. If we compare that to the rest of the Mountain West Conference, we are currently at number 6. But I'm not sure if 2 stars out of high school are going to be our main focus for this next season, because guys like Dejon Lacey are going to be a 72 overall as a 2-star transfer, while these freshmen are just sitting there around a 60 to 63. Those transfers will also get to benefit from training results, even if it's only +1 to their overall, and we did find 1 star on this team that's not going to want to transfer. Dion DeBlanc cares about playing time. He's an 88 speed receiver as a sophomore. So Dion is our main focus on offense right now. We're going to have this kid for 3 more years, and his hands and route running can get so much better. It might seem crazy, but if Eric Barbieri is going to have any success as a true freshman, we genuinely needed a receiver like that more than anything else. I don't mind the skill caps on him at all. He doesn't need to have a good dev trait to reach his potential. He's a pocket passing quarterback, and I just noticed we have 3 seniors, 9 juniors on this roster. So a lot of our older guys all transferred away, 40 freshmen, and a lot of them are 2 stars. This is a disaster. We sure don't have the school grades to recruit anybody decent, if we could even go after better than 2 stars anyway. And I really believe the only way we can win the Mountain West in the future is if we recruit a bunch of guys like Lacey out of the portal at the end of the season. So we might do almost 0 high school recruiting. I still feel like I've been able to find a couple gyms as 2 stars though, because even though this guy like Steven is a bust, 83 speed, who really cares? We got a 2-star corner with 88 speed, a 2-star corner with 89 speed. We're finding a little bit of quality here and there, and all of a sudden I got to put you all on to not just 2 stars, but 5 stars. Legend Boozer could be an actual legend if we got the 5-star to commit to Wyoming. No other school wants him. I don't care what type of scandal he's going through. We are currently a 57 overall. He is welcome to play for us whenever he wants. And just like everybody would have expected, we opened the season getting smoked by North Texas, but then we put up 45 points on an FCS school. So what's going to happen in our final 10 games? Who knows? I'd like to shoot for a bowl game, but it'll really all come down to what version of Eric Barbieri that we get. I'm looking for him to impress at New Mexico. I want to play with him for the first time. Pause. And you know what? I think it makes it worse to throw that in there. If I just didn't say anything, you all might have let it fly. I'm making it too easy for you to get some timestamp material. You used to have to listen for it. You had to work for it. Trust me, I see the comments. 2nd down, we're going to get out our drag extremely fast. That'll help us pick up the 1st down. We're trailing by 7. But I have to have faith that we are going to be able to overcome this deficit and win. There's really not much aura in this Mountain West game at New Mexico. But if we can pull off some crazy plays like this, will the transfer make the catch? He won't. It would at least add to how great the Mountain West could be. What happened to no eyes, no picks? I am sure he could see that football, but it sure did not seem like it. Our punt's going to go out of bounds at the 30. I'm really hoping to force a 3 and out and get this ball back, but Brian's going to be too slow. That's such a bad user. They're just getting a few yards at a time on us. We're going to send in a blitz, trying to take them out of field goal range, except we missed the tackle and another tackle. At least we got that one. Seems like we're going to fall in our first Mountain West matchup, though, unless we can bait them into a bad read. Quarterback's a little bit smarter than that. No way. No way. I don't care if we're on Heisman. How? How did he get out of there? Are our guys just incapable of wrapping up? That was the easiest tackle to make ever. Where's that ball going? Every time I give myself a challenge where I have to play with like 2-star players, I slowly lose my mind. We just ran into him. And we are 9 seasons away from Wyoming needing to win a national championship. The challenge might be a little bit too challenging. That is why every game that I play, I have to give this team the best chance of winning. Dejon Lacey has rushed for 26 yards on 14 carries, though. He's not performing like a running back that wants to come out on top here. Let's just take a shot to our best receiver. He isn't getting separation or catching it. Well, it's 4th and 1. We don't pick this up. The game is over. And we don't. I'm already done with Season 2. I want to get to the transfer portal so bad, but we still have a few games that we can play. It's just we lost to a freshman quarterback in New Mexico. It hurts my ego. We're about to go on the road at 4-0 San Jose State. And it's no surprise they're going to beat us, silly. They dropped 45 points on our defense. We've also been locked out from a tight end that I thought had pretty solid stats for a 2-star if you overlook his 53 awareness. I would have taken 82 speed, but we have to get him off of our board now, and we got a couple visits lined up for some of these 2-star cornerbacks. We could also put 5-star Legend Boozer on a visit. That's probably the best way for us to close out this battle. I'm not sure who we should do it against, though. Who would be the easiest for us to take down? UNLV is 2-2. And so we're probably going to play that game in the near future. We got to scout Dwayne Penny next week. He could still be another wild card signing we try and pull in. Let's just play against Northern Illinois. It really made so much sense for the Huskies to join the Mountain West Conference. DeKalb, Illinois is just known for their mountains. Or it could be the flattest land ever out there. I imagine it looks more like most of Indiana. I can't flame them too bad, though. They currently have a 1-point lead on us as we start this 4th quarter. 2-point conversion, halfback screen. They get in. And I don't think Eric Barbieri realizes the importance of this game. This is how the team gets better. If he can't help us win during visit weeks, he's going to have nobody good to surround him on this roster. What a 3rd down read. And I am still adamant on us using mostly the transfer portal because I think that's where the best 2-stars are. I'm not feeling most of these 2-star prospects out of high school. Where's our offensive line? The blocking just is not good. They're double teaming over on the left side on 3rd down, but it looked like we could have a chance. And we should probably punt with 5 minutes remaining. Leaning on your defense isn't the worst idea, but we're refusing the punt. How did he get a hand to that? Listen, as frustrating as it is, it's not the end of the world. 3rd and 8. We could hold the Huskies to a field goal. Looks like everything is covered. All we have to do is wrap up. And our guys have learned to do that. It's an improvement from last season. I love the backdrop here at Wyoming, by the way. The field goal is not going to be good. And you don't get to appreciate it on the other side of the field right now because it's so dark out. But they got these massive pine trees. I imagine Wyoming would be an absolutely beautiful state to live in. As much as I diss it being in the middle of nowhere, there is a true beauty to it. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. Our fancy restaurants included Mexican restaurants and Wendy's. You know what you got to do on a Friday night if you wanted to hang out? You got to hang out in the Walmart parking lot. Does it get much better than that? You might think that it does, but you never know till you experience it. And we still got about 57 seconds to win this one. They're going to double team our best receiver. We don't care. DeBlanc's got it. But we have more than just him that we can lean on this team. We signed Bars for a reason. The 4-star gets us 7. And we're running the ball. I didn't think they would be prepared for it. What I'm really hoping is they disrespect Tobias Bars and we can get him on a route there. But the comeback was easily guarded. So this is it. 13 seconds on the clock. 2 timeouts. We probably should have burned one there. We're going to go for the quick hitch. And we fight our way in. That's going to give us a 4-point lead. I think Wyoming's getting a win, boys. The legend of Eric Barbieri starts now. What a comeback. And what a stat line. 150 passing yards, 51% completion percentage. That's incredible. Seriously, though, if that's all that he's capable of doing for us, it's going to be a very long season. Brett House committed. But we don't seem to be making as much progress on all of these 2-star cornerbacks. Is it because our hard sell isn't good enough? It changed up. Now we have to get him on a visit in week 9 whenever we're bringing in the 5-star. And it's decision time. Is Dwayne Penny worth going after as a running back? 87 speed, cares about playing time. You know what? We're going to wait to use the wild card spot on somebody in the transfer portal. Since we have the 5-star center visiting week 9, we're going to have to skip over this rivalry against Hawaii again. All I care about is landing a 5-star. And headed into this matchup against UNLV, we are 2-5. We're just not having a good year. It also means we're not going to be able to get Broderick Volk away from Georgia State. They can go ahead, win that battle. Looks like nobody wants Legend Boozer still. And that just surprises me, but it's good news. We might not have to win this game for him to commit. Headed into this one, I discovered that Wyoming has these gold jerseys with the cursive Wyoming written on the front as well. They look sick. And I want them to be good luck for us in the future, but we have to be able to close out this game and win. For that to happen, 3rd down, we get the stop. UNLV's punt, though, has put us in a horrendous position starting this drive on the 1-yard line. It's about to be 3rd and 6. We really cannot afford to get stopped here, except That's going to be a pick six. It's going to be a pick six. What is our freshman quarterback doing there? It's not a good read. It's only gotten worse from there. If Eric Barbieri wasn't a 4-star, I would be benching him right now. He's just sending up a prayer on 4th down. We don't catch it. And so we have lost this game by 17 in front of a 5-star. I think it's going to be okay, though. Again, nobody else wants Legend Boozer. He has to commit eventually. And there's no way we finish out this season winning our final 4 games. We're not making it to a bowl. As I advance to the end of the season, though, this is what we were waiting to see. Boozer has committed to Wyoming. And why he did that, I don't know. Buddy, we went 2-10. We are not the bright future that's going to help him get to the NFL. I think they say like 66% of 5-star recruits in high school end up making it to the league. He might fall in that 34%. But we won't know that until we see his dev trait. We're getting impact on one of these 2-stars. We got elite dev on Legend Boozer. I'm excited about an offensive lineman more than anybody else on this team. He's about to block so well that he's going to carry us. There's no way that any team in the Mountain West will have the pass rush to keep up. Might just have to expect him to block one guy with each arm, taking on 2 at once. Looks like our freshman quarterback threw for 3,000 yards, only 10 picks. Could have been a worse season. I'm not upset about that. Lacey got injured, so that's why his stats weren't amazing. And he'll still be returning for his senior season. Dion DeBlanc had 805 yards, 5 touchdowns. Looks like our freshman receiver, Tobias Bars, didn't do well. I thought he'd be second in receiving yards, but he also missed a few games due to injury. We can expect a lot of players to transfer out, just like last season. So that's why I'm kind of dreading getting the players leaving, but at the same time, I wanted the transfer portal. I still think Samuel Harris could be a good running back for us if he was willing to just stick around. He had 90 speed. That's why I wanted him. Are we able to get BJ to come back? We're not. So in total, if we go from the top to the bottom, we're losing about 30 players, but only a couple guys graduated. So that is the benefit of not having many seniors. And with only 11 players on our board, we have plenty of room for 2-star transfers. We also have 2 more wildcard spots available, so I'm going to have to use those wisely. I don't know if there will be a 4-star transfer that'll even give us a chance, but if we could get CJ Baxter, that would be big. Even though by week 3 of the transfer portal period, we are currently sitting in second place behind Missouri, I still think we can pull it off. I also have to point out that we have a week 3 visit set up for our other wildcard player. He's a freshman from Georgia that cares about playing time on the edge. So I really want to beat out Hawaii for him. Most of these guys, we know that we're not going to have any competition on, but for the players we have competition, we're going to schedule visits except on Ja'Cory Watson. We're just not getting him. I think we can land a full class of 2-stars still. It's just been a real challenge to do so with less than 500 hours. A couple of our visits are signing. I have bad news though. It's so frustrating that this bug happens in week 4 still. They just don't have the playing time deal breaker all of a sudden. You can't go in and schedule a visit, even though we would be able to. I don't understand how this is still in the game. It left me with no choice but to take CJ Baxter off of our board, so we're not going to be able to bring in a 4-star transfer. We're going to look for a good 3-star. And I really don't want to sign another edge, but I'm not seeing much else of a choice unless we brought in someone like Moses Ivory. Hang on. We have to make a decision here. It's either going to be the freshman from Notre Dame or a sophomore on the edge that is getting pursued by Stanford. That's the easiest choice of my life. Moses Ivory could be good, but I'm not sure how much of this class we're going to retain because all of our signings basically have dealt with the playing time deal breaker, and that's what we worked on last season as well. So everybody is here for playing time only. I'm not going to be able to give playing time to 70 different players this season though, so don't get too used to seeing a lot of these names. We don't know how long they're going to stick around. We did end up bringing in a full class of 35 players. I put our 3 wildcard players at the top. We already know that Legend Boozer has his elite development, but for the freshmen on defense, Moses Ivory is normal dev. That was a waste of a wildcard, and so was George. He came from Georgia. I'm actually so disappointed. There were about 6 2-stars that had impact development. They're more useful than the 3-stars we wasted wildcard spots on, and it makes me wonder if we should have used wildcard spots on portal players. I think next year we're just going to sign 3 guys straight out of high school. Our class was ranked down at number 98, but it is inside the top 100. It got carried by a 5-star. Until we can win a conference championship and lift our recruiting restrictions at Wyoming, I think we're always going to finish about 6th in our class ranking of our conference. And some of these 2-star transfer overalls are not the 73 that we were seeing last year. In fact, the quarterbacks are like 57 to 59s. It seems like before training results, we're going to get our first dev trait upgrade, which is a big deal. Miles Kipper was one of our 4-star wildcard signings from last season. He now has impact, but he only went up by 1 overall, our best player is going to be Dion DeBlanc. And Eric Barbieri only went up by 1. This is the issue with normal development. If the computer does not focus on increasing his accuracy, he is never going to get near his full potential. And as we start Season 3, we can see some of the players that still want to transfer before we find a bunch of guys at the end of the year that simply are not happy about their playing time. Now, we have built up another 104 coach points, so I have to decide if it's worth it for us to get to Tier 3 so all of our guys get an off-season boost. I think we're just going to have to go with it. I'm not sure how effective Architect is this season, but if we win 4 rivalry games, that could also unlock. And then there's Tactician as well. We have 80 guys on this roster, only 4 seniors, so I don't think we can sign a really big class. 44 freshmen, that just is a bunch of players that need to develop. But we'll still be looking for our 3 wildcard players. I wish that there were some gyms out of Wyoming. I highly doubt this kid's going to be one, but if he is, I would waste one of our wildcards on him just because I know he's not transferring. It just isn't going to be that way. Well, would you look at that? We just found our first 4-star gym in running back Reed Shazer. This is actually really exciting because nobody else wants him, and we just struck out with Derek Castanzo. He was a quarterback, but he's a bust, so we're not going to get another quarterback with normal depth. Then JD Stick also became a gym, so I think some of our wildcard players are going to be 4-star gyms. But both of these receivers aren't my favorite receiver archetypes, and they have schools going after them, so I don't think we're going to find 3 wildcard players in this class to target. It still says that we have team needs on our offensive line, which makes no sense to me if you just look at how many freshmen we have. There really aren't many team needs that we need to fill. So my plan is to do most of our recruiting in the portal again, and I only want to hop into Mountain West games this year. I want us to have the best chance that we can at winning our conference. When it comes to scheduling some of these players for a visit, we're going to do week 8 with Hawaii coming to town. They're currently 4-0, so it would be a huge win if we beat them. And I can just tell by the fact that we only beat an FCS school by 3 points and off of a couple of these losses that we're most likely not going to be in the best position for this matchup. We will see how we do against San Jose State, though. Last season, they were really good. Again, right now, the only thing we are recruiting a lot of our guys on is playing time, so if we don't give them playing time, they're going to want to leave Wyoming extremely soon. And with 5.5 minutes left in this one, we find ourselves trailing by 7. We are starting Lester Ferrario at running back. He's a freshman that cares about playing time. I just wanted to have somebody that could be consistent for us in the future. Cross breaks the tackle, and Cross is going to the 40. Bryce Cross, a freshman receiver, so that is another freshman. Maybe we need to keep the name of him in mind. Lester Ferrario with 9. This team is starting to make me a little bit proud, and if we're patient, then you know Bars is going to get his separation. We have 2 good receiving targets. It's why I feel like we should win more games than just a few. But this is a test for Cross. If they're in man-to-man coverage, can he get open and make the catch? That is not what you want to see there, but we got some separation from our tight end. Wyoming is going to tie this game up with probably 4 minutes left, and that puts all the pressure on our defense to get the Spartans off of the field. I see him. He's open, and they found him. He also spins us out. Hang on. Tongues, you got to make the tackle here. You don't look like you're very quick. He's giving it his all, too. But for a kid that looked like he was maybe 150, 160 pounds at corner at the D1 level, he looked like someone would run as like a 300-pounder. I don't know why he's struggling. This tight end's kind of nice with it, though. He's going to get open again here, and he caught it. John Grimmett is just a sophomore. Man-to-man coverage. Awful route from DeBlanc. I think we got John Grimmett in the transfer portal, so that's just more reason to continue using it. We're going to get 6 on the ground, making this 3rd down much more manageable to pick up, but we're going to need to do it on the ground. Our quarterback's not meant to be moving like that. You can tell. So I'm afraid Eric Barbieri is not going to be able to fool this defense on the speed option, though we're still getting the 1st down off of it. We have chewed clock in case we don't want to take this one to overtime. Flag on the play. It's a free play. We can celebrate a little bit, waste some time, just fight our way in, and I am loving this freshman running back. What a steal we got out of him. The game says we should go for the 2-point conversion, so they don't have any faith in us in overtime. I feel like if this is man-to-man, we're going to get open with DeBlanc, but he just got boxed right there. I trusted him. I didn't look anywhere else. That's not a good look for our 85 overall receiver to get locked up like that. And we have 3 timeouts, so we can technically get this ball back if we stop the run fast. But it's really not looking good. I can't imagine they're going to throw this ball on 3rd and 14, breaks 1 tackle, which wasted some more time. And the issue with that is if this punt stays in the air for all 6 seconds, we're not touching it again. Please, just go out of bounds. Go out of bounds. Okay, we have our opportunity. Are we going to be able to do anything with it? They got someone right over there. That's the game. San Jose State takes us down. They're 1-4. The Mountain West is not going to be as easy as I was imagining it was going to be. This 10-year rebuild's hard. We still have to wait a couple more weeks before these wildcard players step foot on our campus, and JD Stick has Oregon going after him plus Texas A&M. There's no way he comes to Wyoming. If we just take a look at his interest, I mean, what do you pitch him on outside of playing time? He doesn't care about anything here. And over the next couple weeks, I'm just going to hope that we get a win in Sim. We were never going to win both of these games, especially since New Mexico is 5-1, but we beat NIU 41-17. That's solid. There's just a lot of teams in the Mountain West that are like 4-2 at the moment. It's going to be very hard for us to get to the conference championship unless we're perfect. I also don't like that Missouri is entering the battle for Reed. If we don't win this visit week, we won't close out on him. JD Stick, even if we win this game, might not come to our school. But look at that visit impact. It's a higher tier opponent, it's a rivalry game, and we also know our motivation's an A+ grade, so there's a lot of room to sell them. Best case scenario would be if we somehow got a blowout against the Rainbow Warriors, we'd get even more points for that. And I'm really not expecting that, but I just discovered Wyoming has black jerseys. Since when? These low-key might be our good luck charms because we're up by 18 points in the fourth quarter. This has to be the best position we've been in a game. Whenever we've gotten to this point, we knew where that football was going. And so for Hawaii to keep it within 2 possessions, they're going to have to settle for a field goal. We just got to work the rest of the clock. Like I was saying, a blowout is another metric that really helps whenever these prospects are visiting. So one more score could do it. And it looks like our starting running back is injured. In fact, not just Lester Ferrario is out, but DeJohn Lacey is as well. I can't believe that we're winning with a 3rd-string running back. Our team in total as well is like 10 injuries going on, but they're still performing well against Hawaii, and we just hit the wrong button. There's no way! There's no way! How on earth are we catching that ball right there? Eric Barbieri has 2,000 passing yards this season, but he is 347 in this game. And DeBlanc couldn't get open on a slant route against some white corner on that 2-point conversion earlier in the year against San Jose State. But when the game's already in the bag, he's catching contested passes for first downs. Look at that run. I am a huge fan of how our offense currently looks. We're getting a touchdown with Tobias Bars. But here at the end of the game, Hawaii has driven down the field. They're on the 3-yard line. And I'm worried if they get a touchdown here, we won't get the benefits of a blowout. I just don't know what the number is that EA considers a blowout. I've heard that it's double digits, but I would think it would be more than that. How does he have this much time? This could be good news for us, though. We're going to start the drive on the 43. And with 18 seconds left, you best believe we're going for a score. One-on-one coverage. Deep. Do we have it? There's no separation there. I'm not giving up on us getting some extra points before the end of this one, though. We find Cross. He gets out of bounds. And that play looked incredible. Force this one in there. It is a laser. It is no question. This is the best game of Eric Barbieri's career. He wins the battle for the Panilio. Probably said that incorrectly, and it's something, I don't even know what a Panaleo is. 395 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. That's what matters. All right, I got a little bit of a history lesson for y'all right here. This rivalry was initiated in 1979 by the Wyoming Panilio Society. And hang on, I got a pronunciation of it. I'm going to nail this. It is Panioloa. Panioloa. Panoaloa. Somewhere around there. It's a Hawaiian word for a cowboy. So both of these teams, I guess, have cowboy heritage. Finding out stuff like that is why I like rebuilding so many teams across the country in this game. Reed Shazer has committed. We got our first 4-star gym. And I think we got the other one. I wasn't recruiting any other player. It had to be JD Stick. Well, once we get to the transfer portal period, we're still going to have room for one more of our wild card players, but the rest of them will have to be 2-stars. And I am happy with those signings. Nevada is 3-0 in conference play. They're 5-2. This should be the last game we hop into this season. If we can beat them, we might still have a chance at making it to a bowl game, maybe even our conference championship. And if we lose, oh well, we were expecting to not have that great of a year. So no matter what happens, I'm fine with either result, but only down by 14, this is a winnable game still. Tobias Bars, after the catch, is a problem, and it looked like we were going to have our tight end open. But we needed to hit John Grimmett a second sooner. Might as well just hand it off on this next one. And we are still dealing with plenty of injuries on this team. Our tight end has it. John Grimmett making catches you would not expect him to. Outside run. It's a fumble. It's a fumble. Wait. We got it! It's John Grimmett, the legend! I'm telling you, this kid is special! We still have 3 seasons left of him as well. 3rd and 3. Let's get the Wolfpack off of the field. Watch the hitch! That's your one job. What else could you possibly be doing? That's our 4-star linebacker too, just looking like a ghost. We're lucky they didn't hit that hole harder. They're basically 1 first down away from being able to seal this thing. We got to keep them out of field goal range. This is it. 3rd and 9. Watching underneath. Throw us a pick. throw us a pick. Oh, that halfback angle route was open. That was open. And winning this game just became a lot harder, especially like that. I don't know what we're supposed to even do in that situation. They are taking the clock with them too. So we've had to sit around for 40 seconds for them to probably just complete the easiest pass of all time. We got this. No, that was our chance. That could have been the game, but they're going for it on 4th and 4 instead of just kicking a field goal, going up by 2 possessions. I don't understand this decision at all, but it won't matter. It won't. We basically just need to let them run in for a touchdown, score as soon as they can. And that'll give us the slightest little bit of hope that we could possibly have, but it's going to take some big plays in order to come back. Was that just pure hope right there? It absolutely was. This play is going to be as well. They got a corner just sitting there waiting. But hang on, let me cook. This was the play we used at the end of the Hawaii game. It led to some really large gains, and it's going to be an interception. All right. We're not meant to beat certain teams this year. Not meant to be. You can't even say that it's user error either. We hopped into this game down 14. We finished down 14. And even with all the injuries that we're dealing with, I just want us to finish out the year strong. Well, against Colorado State, Dion DeBlanc went for 150 yards. So we're going to pick up our 4th win. We could still get to a bowl game. If we could have just beat UTEP here, we would already be eligible, but we lost by 1. Then we edged out UNLV on the road by 2. So whether or not we can go 6-6 all comes down to our game against Air Force. It looks like we did come out on top, but it's not always great news because you can see that there are 12 players not happy with their playing time at the moment, including Ferrario. He's been injured. Why is he upset? At least we should be making a bowl game, so we could still give him some playing time. But that is not a good look, and Air Force had a 28-3 lead in this game that they choked so hard, they lost 39-31. As for where we're finishing in conference play, it's going to be in 4th place, but if we would have won the 2 games that I hopped into, we could have been tied at 6-2. So what we really need to do is just retain some of the guys on this roster, but James McNeil's not happy with his playing time. He's been getting a lot of touches due to injuries. We can't even play Lester Ferrario. He's still injured. I don't understand why he is not happy with the playing time that he has been getting. Miles Kuiper, another one of our stars, not healthy. And if you think I'm just too worried about retaining 2-star talent, I am not. He is an impact dev player, which is rare for 2 stars, and his skill caps are incredible. I don't care that he is 85 speed. I want him to stay. Clemson's QB wins the Heisman Trophy. What is our bowl game looking like, though? Rice is definitely winnable. I also love the Hawaii Bowl. If we're able to pull off a win in this one, it could be an incredible way to close out year 3. And the last time we had a game that had anything to do with Hawaii, we had a lot of success. This one, we still have a lot we have to work with, though, because we're only up by 5. So to close this one out, we're going to have to finish strong. And we've waited so long to hit John Grimmett. He couldn't catch that ball, though. He's kind of let us down, and we're just throwing it straight to them. I mean, what type of read is that there? Eric Barbieri has completely sold this game, and Haas Henji. How on earth are we supposed to stop Haas Heine? I mean, he's got 90-something speed. Why is he at Rice? Welcome to the experience playing an EA Sports game, though, where this bug has been here for about 3-4 months. And they're still kicking. It is typically really frustrating. It causes me to crash out in Imperialism because teams need to have smarter brains than to not go for the 2-point conversion. But here, all it means is we need a field goal to win. So it's the one time where I'm not going to complain about it. Let's just hand this one off, get 5, which is all we're looking for on every play on this drive. Just short, reliable gains. Look at John Grimmett go. Another handoff, this time will get us about 5. That's all we want. Then we get them to bite at the run while we have a simple pass, or we're going to get a good scramble. And if Ferrario's not happy with his playing time after this game, we're going to have problems. We have given him his touches. He'll get one more here before we probably need to throw the ball. And I've never run this play before. We're going to hopefully get them to focus on bars while hitting our slant, except he's not open at all. He is not open at all. I'm not sure I've ever seen someone get clamped harder. The plan has to be hit John Grimmett, and John Grimmett gets open. Do we take this all the way and give Rice a chance? I think we have to. It's not what I would prefer, but that's what we ended up doing anyway. Quick out route, that'll get them 5, and they get out of bounds. But they still have to get a long way down the field, and these short gains won't do much. It's actually exactly what we want them to take because they're 6, but you still have to get another 55 yards down the field in a short period of time, and we knew where it was going. but we couldn't get there. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. There's 11 seconds left on the clock, and we have absolutely zero pass rush, but that's a lurk. That is a lurk from Burton. Burton is going to win us our first bowl game. And if it has to do with Hawaii, we're going to have some good luck. All around, especially with the injuries that we face, this is a very successful season. Now, Eric Barbieri threw 18 interceptions, but he also threw for almost 4,000 yards, so he was forcing it a little bit more. We didn't have a consistent running back for our offense as well. So Tobias Bars going for 1,000 yards, love that. And here's the thing. We know that Bryce Cross isn't getting open versus man-to-man coverage. It's actually painful to watch, but he's a freshman and he is just 80 speed. This kid needs to develop. It is hard to believe that is the guy that had the most receiving touchdowns for us. Look at these dev traits. Elite dev on JD Stick. That's going to help our defense so much. It's also important to point out, if halfbacks like Ferrario transfer out, we did just sign a 4-star gym freshman. So I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world. Oregon gets their first national championship, and we're about to see a couple of big names leave this team. Looks like Lester will not be returning for us, and we might as well try and get one of our best corners to return as well, but they're not being persuaded. Of all the losses, Dash Bauman on our line, that one's going to hurt a ton, especially since some of the defensive players we signed with wildcard spots last year didn't have good dev traits, also lost a few seniors. All around, though, it probably could have been worse, and what's going to stop us from signing a 4-star transfer this year? I mean, Jakyle Baker has interest in playing for us. We could also steal our rival Hawaii's quarterback right out of their hands, but I don't think it's worth wasting a wildcard spot on. Actually, I lied. I would 100% do that for a 1-year rental. So between these two players, one of these guys will be joining our team next year. As for some of these 2-stars to fill some holes, if we see competition, we just got to take those guys off of our board because for most of them, we're not going to be able to afford to put 50 hours in. And I guess it's official. We are getting our rivals quarterback, Micah Alihado. I don't care about Jakyle Baker anymore. We're going to have competition for him. We don't want him. He's sure not who I was planning on signing with our 3rd wildcard spot, but if the opportunity is going to arise, I just feel like we can't pass up on it. He could carry us. So next season, this team is in Micah's hands. He is just impact development, but one of the 2-star running backs that we found from Hawaii. Hawaii continues to be good luck for us. He's got star dev. We also got star dev on this free safety transfer. So if you just look past pure volume, I think this is the happiest I've been with one of our classes. I'm a little worried that it might cause Eric Barbieri to want to transfer away, but I'm hoping he takes this as an opportunity to redshirt and sit behind a better QB. And even though I thought that JD Stick was going to be a linebacker for us, I actually think that we're going to move him down to our defensive line where we could use a lot of help there. As for some of our dev trade upgrades, we're going to see one on Taylor. I had no idea who that is, but Justin Taylor's our free safety. He's going to get up to a 78 as a senior, so he'll have one good year with us. Looks like Tobias Bars is now an 86 overall. We're going to have Dion DeBlanc as a senior with an 87. And with elite development, it took 1 year for Legend Boozer to be our highest overall player. He's already almost the best run blocker in the country. We're not going to have him for very long. We're also not going to have this great of a quarterback for very long. It's exactly what we needed for this season, though. And I know that we have a true freshman running back coming in, but I think this kid from Hawaii could take the starting job. He's up to 90 speed, 95 acceleration. Elusiveness is capped out. It's a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Our offense has never looked better than it currently does. Even if it's going to get us a lot of players that want to transfer pretty soon, I think our best bet is continuing to use the portal mainly and just hope that we can continue to improve every season. We got number 9 Miami on our schedule, but that is going to easily be the toughest game. The rest of these aren't too bad. So I really think we could finish with 8 or 9 wins, only 6 seniors, which means once again, we don't need that many signings. But I know our huge sophomore class is just going to keep on getting older, and I really hope that Eric doesn't decide to transfer away. Now, I know I said we were going to lean more on the transfer portal than anything else, but I still scouted some 2-star athletes, and look at these 2 quarterbacks that I found. 96 throw power? Are you kidding me? Also, 90 throw power. Both of these guys got good accuracy, and they're both in this class, so we're going to try and sign them both. Those stats are just wild, but if you're wondering how I find the players that are 4 stars, that are 5 stars, that we end up going after with some of these smaller schools, that's the filter I use. Then I just go over here, I sort by offers, and if they have 0 offers, plus their deal breaker works for us, we go after them. I know that we don't need a running back again, though, so we're actually going to avoid that position. We also don't really need a receiver. Maybe we'll look into it a little bit bit more. I really just don't like guys that care about playing style most of the time, because that can always change and you don't want them to transfer away. We did find Raymond Mooney though. He's got 90 speed, 93 acceleration. He cares about playing time instead of playing style, which is perfect. So if we're going after any of those guys, it's probably him. Let's just see how we do in our first few games, but only after we purchase the tactician tree and then spend some of our coach points beefing up our offensive line. We have a little bit to help out our defensive line as well, so we're going to do that. And we have very quickly found out exactly why I don't like to recruit off of the playing style deal breaker. Our offense apparently hasn't been good enough, so for multiple guys on our board, they're not interested. We're just taking them off. We're really not going to go after that many players. We beat Akron by 28 points. That is a huge improvement from a couple seasons ago. We always knew Miami was going to destroy us, but now we have a big game at San Jose State to open up Mountain West play. If we are going to do well in conference play, this is a must win. And for the first season in this rebuild, we might have a better roster than the teams we're playing. For this to be the position that this game is in by the fourth quarter, I feel like I have to do almost nothing. Though that move from Tobias Bars was clean, we finished off the drive with a touchdown. We won 44-10. And we have a certified legend at quarterback. I just know that Hawaii is devastated. We stole him from them. It's not the first time they've been caught off guard. And if we could beat New Mexico on the road, which we're going to sim, we'll be 2-0 in Mountain West play. I mean, from the looks of it, our offense had another incredible day. And our defense is playing well too. We're doing a lot of this with mainly 2 stars. For the 3 prospects that haven't committed yet, including our wildcard player, Ramen Mooney, they're all coming in for a visit week 7. But I don't know if it's important for us to play against the Huskies. This is a team that's a 59 overall that we beat by quite a bit last season. So I decided to simulate it, and just off of the fact that we have gotten both quarterbacks to commit, I think we're good. We're now 5-1, though a lot of guys on our team want to transfer, including Barbieri. I guess he's not happy with his red shirt. And there's so many players complaining about playing time as well, even though we're having a crazy season. Headed into the game against his former team, Micah Alejado has set the record for the most passing yards in Mountain West Conference play over the course of an entire career. What a great record to hold. I think we can win this one in Sim too. And you know, if Architect's being unlocked, then we did. It was only by 3 points though. Currently, this is seeming like the season where we could win the Mountain West and lift those recruiting restrictions. That'd be a major deal for us to be successful in this 10-year rebuild, but we still have to beat teams like the Wolfpack. At the moment, we're tied for first place in the Mountain West. If we could win this one, we'd be in such a great spot. And I still could add some more guys to our board, but I'm content with this being it for now. Baylor's tried to enter the battle at the last second. Shouldn't matter. I'm ready for our biggest game of this rebuild so far. And for good luck, we're going to bring out the blackout jerseys that I said was always going to be our good luck charm. As we open up this fourth quarter, we are trailing by 3, but we're looking to convert on 3rd and 4. We just got pressed over on this side of the field. I was hoping that we could beat it and get a huge play, but we couldn't. So we probably shouldn't have put all of our trust in Tobias Bars and looked elsewhere on the field. At least this kick is good. We're going to need to come up with a stop, though, and they got a senior quarterback that was able to beat us this past season. I knew exactly where that ball was going. And one thing I don't like is their hurry-up offense. The use of that timeout was the best thing that we could have done, though. It gave our defense a break. We regrouped, and I don't think they have anything here. No way they convert. They're short. If their kicker isn't as good as ours, we're going to be in an incredible position, but he is drilling it. So we need to have a successful drive all the way down the field, and we're only getting 3. It looked like that play could have turned into so much more. I love having a scrambling quarterback, by the way. It's something that we have not had so far, and we probably aren't going to have next season. He can run, though, using the read option. We had a good block down the field. Just didn't have the speed to finish the runoff. And if you haven't noticed, we're actually missing our star receiver. Dion DeBlanc has turf toe, so that's one less target we can throw to. And it's happened at the worst time against a team where you could use the extra help. If we don't end up picking up this 3rd and 9, I'm willing to just take our field goal. But I thought we had that. And instead, we're just trying to tie things all up at 20. Looks like their first play is just going to have a couple drags underneath, but we also left the flat open. Bro, I'm playing an important game right now. Look. Look, do you think we're going to get the stop? Oh, shoot, we're in man-to-man coverage. RBT, I swear, if you just ruined it. Well, after all of that nonsense, we're giving up a ton of plays like this. I don't know if the mic could even pick it up, but I am blaming RBT if we lose this game. You can't be giving up the hitch. They are in field goal range. They're just going to run the football. We almost need to let them score. So that's what we're going to do. If we don't, this one's over. Stop tackling. We are out of timeouts. Now they're deciding to throw the football. Don't tackle. Don't tackle. Let him get in. This is a disaster. It's down to 40 seconds left. I'm going to be surprised if they don't take it even lower. We just want this football back. What are you doing? Hang on. Hang on. They just took it down to 7 seconds, then called a timeout. They were so smart about that. There's nothing we can do besides hope that they shank this to the right. Come on. Come on. Come on. We are the luckiest team in the world right now. We're not going to lose to them. I don't think that they're going to give this up. Yeah, there was no way they gave that up. Interception. Okay, we got the tackle. But we are headed to overtime, so we still have hope to stay first place in the Mountain West. 1st and 10. They got us with the play action. And they're also going to find that hole somehow. This is the problem with facing teams with senior quarterbacks. They got a really talented one. And Croman Hoken, he hands this off. They're in. At least I know exactly what we'll be doing if we score. It's 2-point conversion time. That can't be a sack. Micah Alejado was trying to make a play with his legs. Just like that, it's 3rd and 21, and we only have one real receiving target. I want to stare down here. At least we make this a 4th and 6. But we need man-to-man coverage bad. Looking at Tobias Bars on the slant. He gets bumped, but he breaks the tackle, and that's all we needed. That was stressful. That could have been dropped. He could have not made it to the marker, but now we are in the end zone with ease. We are one play away from staying undefeated in conference play. And I assume they're going to be worried about the quarterback run this time, which is why we're going to come out, throw the rock, and we didn't get open, but we still got it. Tobias Bars single-handedly won us this game. What an ending. And during the same week, we got our first wildcard player to sign. The other two are going to have to come from the portal. To be fair, though, if we could just win the Mountain West, then we're going to have all those recruiting restrictions lifted. And since Colorado State's in the Pac-12 now, even though this was a rivalry, we just simulated where we won with ease. We dominated every single statistical category. It was enough to get us ranked inside the top 25 for the first time. And if we just continue to win, we might have a real shot at getting a playoff spot. After beating the Miners by 1 point, we just edged them out. We can hop into one of these two final games still, and I think we're going to play against UNLV just based off record. It makes the most sense. If we win one of these two, we're locked for the conference championship. And by the time that we get to the 4th quarter, this one might already be handled. It's also a later game in the season, so I was hoping that we would finally get a snow game. They are so rare in Dynasty. I just want the ability to select the weather before the game. I feel like that's not asking for much. With a few minutes left in this one, we are going for the comeback route. I can't believe that wasn't a flag. But we are going to pick up a massive first down while we only have a 6-point lead. I simulated for a little bit too long. It almost cost us, but we're still going to be okay. This team is just really good. And look at the blocking from our elite center. He literally just ran through that dude with no pushback. His first name is Legend for a reason. Look at the hole that he just created here. I mean, that was nuts. He basically just shoulder checked a 300-pound man. We don't get the 2-point conversion. So this game is not over yet, but our defense has been one that we've been able to lean on most of the year. With 3 timeouts left, they were always going to kick it deep. And we better have an idea of how we're going to get 13 yards in 2 plays, because if not, they're going to get their stop. Micah, keep running. Chuck it, chuck it. I don't know why I thought we were going to outrun that guy around the edge, but we don't have the speed for it. 3rd down. It's a pick. It's a pick. We're going to lose. We're going to lose to UNLV. This is ridiculous. I thought this game was sealed. We were in such a good position. Hey, that's JD Stick getting the sack, though. User and Kuiper, one of our first 4 stars that we signed. Throw it straight to him, or they're just going to find the seam. The worst part is UNLV knows the spot that they're in, so they've taken a good bit of time off of the clock before getting us with that, and we're not getting back to the ball. What a throw. I mean, that was just remarkable. 2-point conversion. It's not working. It's not working. Okay, all we need is a field goal. If we could have somehow returned that for a touchdown, we wouldn't even need the field goal. But you know what? We got our freshman that was a 4-star returning this kick. He's able to put us on the 20-yard line. And if they don't have a quarterback spy, Micah will run the ball. If he sees man-to-man coverage, it is the first thing that he looks for. Once again, he doesn't see a spy, so he's going to stiff arm a poor kid. Yeah, celebrate on top of him. Get all over him. That's what we want our quarterback doing. Seam won't be there, but if we're patient enough, we can make that. And it took 3 plays. That was all that Wyoming has needed to get into field goal range. It's still not a gimme from this distance, which is why we're going to look for more. But they were able to break that pass up, and he's a lefty. We're just going to have to scramble. I couldn't make the throw that I wanted. Thankfully, it is all going to work out. We just got to set this up in the center, to kick. And if I wanted to get a little bit more in the center, we can. Miles Quarterman, our junior kicker, has one of the easiest kicks of his career. And he was actually a 2-star transfer kicker that we picked up in the portal. A lot of the guys that are playing the best for us weren't necessarily 2-star recruits in high school, but they were 2-star portal recruits. And Michael Alejado has set the Wyoming single season passing touchdowns record. I don't know who it belonged to before. Was it Josh Allen? He's the only notable quarterback I can think of that attended the school. Mountain West Championship won't be a gimme. But if we win it, we lift all of our recruiting restrictions, and as the number 18 team in the country, maybe even get a playoff spot. It's pretty incredible that we were able to do all of that with this team. Really, what made it possible is having a great quarterback and 2 really good receivers, because after that, the drop-off is pretty sharp. Those guys have carried us hard. Are there any group of 5 teams or group of 6 teams ranked above us? There is North Texas. We need them to lose. That's the only way that we'd even be able to win a playoff spot. Either way, we are setting up ourselves incredibly for the future. I mean, this is a 10-year challenge, and we're just hitting the end of season 4. The question is really going to become, can we build a championship level roster with Wyoming? If we could win this game, we'd be able to recruit a lot better players, but we're down by 7. So you best believe we are playing every last second of the final 8 minutes, and we're all over it. 3rd and 13. I hope they go with a difficult read, but we give up the first without even coming close to baiting them into an interception. 7 minutes left on the clock, and you can't give up the check down there. This is really bad. We're about to be trailing by 14 points. I don't know why I thought it was just a gimme that we'd win this conference championship game. I mean, clearly it's not. We got to do more there. They sent 8 players. We had the numbers. We had the blockers, and our comeback route's not going to be open. We better just throw this one away. On this next one, we're going to have a high, low read, or we're going to have a touchdown read potentially. Is that throw on the money? If it was, it would have been the best throw of this video. But unfortunately, the pressure was a little bit too strong. Either way, I still like what I'm seeing. Looks like they're going to press here. I can't believe he got to that. We tried to layer it in there. Looks like they're going to have a linebacker prepared for the scramble. But he was not quick enough to get to Micah. Halfback screen, switch it up. We're actually breaking that tackle. What a play. Man, for a freshman running back to be making an impact like that in a game like this, it's what you want to see. But Dion DeBlanc just got hurt on that last play, and we're not getting the first. I thought the read option was going to be super easy to convert there. We'll just run it again. And is Nevada going to have an answer for it? They do. They do. I'm honestly pretty panicked right now because I was not expecting us to be trailing by 14. If our defense doesn't get a stop, we are not winning. Now, I am willing to risk it here and go for the 2-point conversion. We were going to throw our out route. I guess we're just going to have to scramble in. And that meant a touchdown would win this game. The problem is it took them 2 plays to get down to the 13. I don't have an answer for their offense. I don't have an answer for their offense. Here we go. It's 3rd and 8. I'm going with the best coverage that I know to run here. Watching for all of that stuff over the middle. And are they trying to give us a gift here? They're going for it on 4th and 5. What are they thinking? Why are you giving that up? It's the one player in your area to guard. I don't think recruiting restrictions are going to be lifted after this season. This is my final season of the day. I thought I was going to go to bed in a great mood. We are going to have a good start for tomorrow. But we're going to need a lot to go our way in the final 2.5 minutes. Wouldn't have even mattered if we held on to that ball. It's holding. So, awful start to the drive. At least I see DeBlanc is back out there on the field, and it's more scrambling. I mean, we just got 20 yards on one play. That's incredible. I'm hoping for the deep post here. It's not there. This might be it. To think that we had home field advantage in everything for this game, and we're still going to come up short, it is upsetting. Wyoming might just have bad luck for winning the Mountain West. Like I said, they've never done it before. Why can't we connect? It's 4th and 10. This is the game right here. Do we scramble? I don't think we can. We're not even going to get it out. We're not getting it out. It just wasn't meant to be. We have 6 seasons to win a championship, and we're stuck still recruiting only 2 stars and 3 wild cards. Here I was worried about if we could get a playoff spot or not, and we can't even win our conference championship game. We're going to lose a lot of the key pieces on this roster that had us have this great of a year. And now Kennesaw State is just in an unfortunate position because we should be taking out all of our frustration on that. I really don't know what our quarterback situation is going to look like next season. We might be starting one of those true freshman 2 stars. And I already know that they're going to have like 0 potential. I couldn't tell you why we're losing to Kennesaw State, but thrown for a touchdown on my first play. And what a fall off for this team after the way that we started this year. Looks like they're going to have so much time, but they just take a shot deep. Get the pick. Get the pick. Way to go up for it, Tongues. Might as well try and return this as well. Lots of open field in front of us. Cutting to the left. Oh, I messed that up. Mike is only a sophomore, though. That is what we want out of him. We're going to close out this game. After taking a sack like that, it might not seem like it, but we will find ways to get the first down. Or we might just throw for a touchdown if they're going to press this aggressively. They got to blitz in. They got to blitz in. Well, leaning on our defense to get stops at the end of games didn't really work out for us last week. We're going to need him here. And I cannot believe on a 4th and 6 with less than 3 minutes left, they're deciding to punt it back to us. That's another thing I think they should change in this game. They got to be a little bit more aggressive in those situations. We shouldn't be getting this. It'll literally take like 1 first down run, and this game is over. I take it back. We're still going to need 1 more first down, which we don't get. But you know what? Leave our offense on the field. End this game right here. If we are just patient, we're going to have Tobias. Micah Alejado is going to go out with a bowl game win. But I don't think this is what he envisioned whenever he came to Wyoming. I think he expected a conference championship. It's probably going to be a long time before we get another season like this out of a quarterback. It's just so unfortunate we couldn't get that conference championship. It really felt like it was going to be a given. Dion DeBlanc also is leaving. He had to graduate at some point, but he got better every single season. Apparently, even if we did win our conference championship, North Texas would have gotten the playoff spot anyway. And even with the year that we had, lots of guys are transferring away from this team. They're all normal development, though. Looks like Dylan isn't going to be persuaded. What about Eric Barbieri? Can you return, dude? You would have the reins of this team for 2 seasons. A lot of the guys that wanted to transfer are going to stay transferring. I was really hoping that one of these guys would get drafted. Looks like Michael will. The sooner that we can boost our pro potential grade, the better. And Ramen Mooney is going to just be impact development as our wild card receiver. The rest of these guys normal. So that's not a great look for who our future quarterback could potentially be. At least our school grades are on the come up. And I'm seeing big names like Drew Mama, who is from Wyoming, transferring from Notre Dame, that would be interested in playing for us. The problem is he's just got 89 speed. I'm not sure how good he'd actually be overall wise. I mean, the rest of his stats are incredible, but he would be a 1-year rental. Whereas a guy like Larry Cashman is ranked a little bit higher. His stats are slightly worse, but he's just a transfer freshman. We're also going to go after this edge from Georgia. I really don't think we have that many holes that we have to fill on this team either, besides replacing some of those huge names that we lost if we want to win our conference championship. Looks like Larry Cashman isn't going to be possible, but Drew Mama will be. And how we're going to beat out Texas A&M for Clayton Fallen with them having a tier 4 pipeline, I don't know, but we have a lot of complimentary visits that I could set up. We also got incredibly lucky that his hard sell completely unlocked for us as we sim into week 3, so we're about to schedule a bunch of visits. And for all we know, with 3 complimentaries, this could be enough to get him to commit. We also got lucky enough to guess Drew Mama's hard sell, so even if he's going to be a 1-year rental, I think we're going to secure the 4-star. And there it is. Clayton Fallen has committed to Wyoming. This was a great use of a wild card spot. He's going to be really good. But the bigger question is whether or not during the final week we were actually able to sign Drew Mama. If we don't land him, we're not going to get to use all 3 of our wild card spots. I was worried for a second, but eventually the kid from Wyoming has come home, and he is star development just like Clayton Fallen. We're not going to have a quarterback like we had the season before, but everything else is really good. You all aren't going to believe this either, because I don't think I have ever found this dev trait on a 2-star player. But if we go over to Trey Newcomb, this left tackle is elite depth. It feels like the rest of our conference is starting to sign worse classes every season as well. It's a great sign that we're going to keep on striving past them. But first, we have to move some of these athletes over to quarterback, and Soro is going to be a 78 overall true freshman. I've also figured out that for some of our top receivers, either they're better at tight end. Leon Gainwell's not the only one. Bryce Cross is the same way. And if they're not better at tight end, a guy like Marcus Banks goes up 9 overalls if we make him our running back. Now, we already have 2 guys at this position that care about playing time, that are going to continue to get better every season. So this might not be the smartest move, especially since Marcus Banks also is going to transfer. But you know what? I'm more focused on us just winning the conference so we can start to recruit more than just 2 stars and a few wild cards. Outside of the quarterback position, when you have guys like Tabar Spars getting dev trade upgrades, I am really excited for this team. We also got one on Grimmett. And not only are we getting 2, we're getting 3. I've never gotten 3 dev trade upgrades in an offseason before. It's crazy I haven't because I've done so many rebuilds, but look at some of this progression. JD Stick, he's an 87 overall. We're also getting a +9 on Derek Stingley, our free safety. And we're going to be starting an 80 overall or higher at almost every position. That's got to be better than the rest of our conference. Again, though, my fear is Demetrius Soro isn't going to have a great true freshman year. He was a 2-star quarterback. He is 5'11". His accuracy can get so much better than I thought, though. Hang on. This kid with 96 throw power is our future. I don't care that he is normal development anymore, and we have 9 seniors that we're losing. That junior class is going to have to be replaced sometime soon, but we're not going to have room with a roster of 85 players to sign many guys this season. Now, I have found it interesting, the type of guys that are still interested in coming to Wyoming. There's some gyms, 2 of them, that's it, that are 4 stars that want to be here on defense, and then there's also these 5 stars that nobody else is recruiting for whatever reason. I think I'm going to end up ignoring the 4-star quarterback since there's 2 5-star options. This kid was a bust, but if we could get Roger Ringo, I think we'd be set up for the future. It also says he's elite development. How can we find this already? It's not even a question. That is 100% going to be one of the 3 wildcard players we try to sign in this class. It has to be our offensive coordinator's coachability, which it is. He has tier 4 mind reader. It's an increased chance to learn the dev trait of a quarterback while scouting. The odds of figuring that out are so slim. And then the odds of him being elite dev are even slimmer. Forget anything I've said about Demetrius Soro. He will not be our starting quarterback going into next year if we can just land the 5-star. That is some of the best news that I think we have had so far, opening up the season against USF. And it's going to be a close one, but we're going to come out on top in overtime, 44-42. Now, of these 6 players on our board, we are only allowed to sign 3 wildcard players still, so we're going to have to be picky and choose eventually. For now, though, we're just going to see who we can win out on. Roger Ringo, we're the only team that's offered him a scholarship. Iowa has a tier 4 pipeline, but if we can reach top 5, they can't come back in the battle. And the most wild part is he's from the state of Iowa. The Hawkeyes have a quarterback right in their back pocket they should be recruiting. One thing we didn't have on our schedule this season, though, was an FCS school, except I'm not sure it's going to matter because Demetrius Soro has set the Wyoming single-game passing yards record in his 3rd start. And during that same week, Tobias Bars helped a lot with it. 2 touchdowns, 220 yards. In Soro's performance against Utah, he passed for 4 touchdowns, no picks, 512 yards. He only rushed for 8. He isn't much of a runner, but we put up 52 points on the Huskies. And I'd say the most concerning part about this team so far is our defense, but we held Cal to just 15 points, and we're ready to start Mountain West Conference play while also facing off against Colorado State, who is in the Pac-12. As our rival, there's somebody that we could use for a visit week if we wanted to land some of these players. Soma Knight is going to be one of those kids we go after. Our hard sell isn't the best. We have him for a week 8 visit against New Mexico. We're also going to have to take this dude off of the board. As much as I wanted to get Manu Cage, he cares about playing style, and what I've been telling you all is it fluctuates way too much. Those guys are going to transfer out. Still, nobody wants to sign Roger Ringo. I really think we need as many bonuses as possible to get some of these 5 stars to commit to our school, especially if other schools enter the battle, which is why we're going to go for a week 10 visit against Colorado State. And another thing I don't even think I mentioned is we're sitting inside the top 25. We're the 19th best team in the country. For this only being our 5th season, we're getting far more respect with the Cowboys than I thought we would. And finally, our defense just purely dominated against one of our conference opponents. The Miners didn't score a single point. At the moment, we are in a really nice spot. We're going to host San Jose State and hop into this game. I feel like we're playing the Spartans almost every season. But the reason for that is they're one of the teams in the Mountain West that we need to be a little concerned about. Another team that could be joining in the future, in fact, by the time this video is up, North Dakota State might already decide that they're moving up. But who knows if any of that will actually come to fruition. They're trying to join the Mountain West as soon as next year. I don't think I've ever seen a team move up from FCS to FBS so fast. I always thought that it took a couple seasons to plan for that move. Come on. Maybe Drew Mama's not the receiver that we thought he was. He couldn't bring that ball in. We also don't pick up the 3rd down. So we'll just kick our field goal to go up by 11 points. As for my thoughts on North Dakota State joining the Mountain West, I feel like they'd be a better fit for the Pac-12. Just feels like that conference is going to be a little bit better. But North Dakota State in their first year might transition better than James Madison did. I mean, they've won like 8 of the last 13 FCS national championships. It's something crazy like that. This interception is going to do it. But yeah, I really hope that the Bison do move up to the FBS level, and maybe by the time this video is going live, it's official that they're actually going to. Now, unfortunately, not everything is as smooth as it looked a couple of weeks ago, because it looks like Oklahoma's come in at the last second trying to land Zaire Coleman, and we don't have a hard sell for the 5-star corner. He doesn't care about playing time or championship contender. While Iowa has discovered Roger Ringo, it took them long enough, but their tier 4 pipeline is going to be a major issue unless we can hard sell him right. Luckily, it looks like the only hard sell that he could even potentially have cares about playing time and our championship contender, and we could get him in for a visit week 10 against Colorado State, which will be a rival. The complimentary visits will also help out a little bit, but we're keeping those guys on the board for the complimentary visits, and that is it. After discovering that there is an elite dev 5-star quarterback we could land, if we don't get him now, I'm going to be devastated. And I think we always knew we'd handle Northern Illinois, but we're going to face off against New Mexico next. We have a 4-star gym on a visit for this game against a 5-1 team. We're also probably going to have to play against UNLV. I don't love simulating a rivalry with 5 stars on a visit, but Colorado State's 2-4. We should be able to take them down. The Mountain West is having a solid year, and I just want us to be able to win the conference this season and start being able to recruit more than a couple good players. I still have very high hopes for the Cowboys. We know we're getting that national championship, I think, but to get there, it all starts with winning a load of our conference games, getting into the playoffs, and proving to high-star athletes that they could come here immediately and get playing time versus sitting on the bench at a school like Georgia. Now, New Mexico is currently up 12-6. I don't know what has happened to our offense. I just think it's what happens whenever you have such a low overall at quarterback. But Mooney is almost gone. They're going to catch him at the 5. The freshman receiver was faster than anybody else on the field was taking him for, and that was our biggest offensive play of the game. Until he exploded all over them, we really weren't moving the football much. I don't know if we're going to cover all these hitches. They just had too much time back there. But I'm still not too concerned. New Mexico hasn't been able to score a touchdown in this game, and we stopped them on 3rd and 2. If they even finished off a couple of those drives with touchdowns, this would be a completely different story. And we're just getting blessing after blessing. I can't believe he missed that field goal. Wasn't the right read here. But we're still going to stick with some of these RPOs. We're going to throw the bubble again. I didn't think it was going to get open 2 times in a row. One more first down is going to do it for us. Handing this ball off, we'll take 5. And I just feel like we might be able to take the top off of the defense here. They weren't expecting us to hit Drew Mama. Even with double coverage, they couldn't keep up with the transfer. So we're going to stay undefeated for the time being. Our offensive weakness is starting to get exposed, though. So I'm hoping that we don't lose to Nevada. They've been another team we've struggled with recently. Soma Knight commits. And that was while we moved up to number 10 in the country, beating Nevada by 8. This visit week's about to be a major deal, especially for Zaire Coleman. Oklahoma will have him won over if we don't get him to sign this week. Looks like I was making progress on Roger Ringo, too. And I swear, if this is the battle for the bronze boot that we fall to Colorado State on, I'm gonna be so salty. Well, we didn't get a single pop-up for players committing. We're 8-1. There's just no way. We even had a player of the week. How did we lose? We gave up 49 points to Colorado State. They had 536 total yards of offense. It's not even like we were turning it over that much, though we did have an interception and a fumble. But it's not Demetrius Soro's fault. He still played a good game. It's the fact our defense could not stop John Coxey. That just guaranteed that we're going to lose both of these battles. I thought we had our quarterback of the future. And since UNLV's lost a couple of conference games since we last looked at their record, we could have hopped into that game against the Rams. What a waste of an opportunity. We literally could have set ourselves up for the next 4 seasons. And instead, we're just crumbling apart against both of our rivals. Hawaii beats us by 15 points. I don't know what's happening to this roster. It's not like we have any major injuries. We're just missing Otis Burton, who's a backup strong safety. And if we want to get to the Mountain West Championship, we actually have to win at UNLV. It really felt like we were going to go undefeated in the regular season and just set a whole new standard at Wyoming moving forward. And the only explanation I have for what's going on, and the fact that we have 0 points as we hop into this game in the 4th quarter, is the fact that we're dealing with a freshman quarterback. Okay, we made the tackle. I really thought that they were about to pick that up. But back to our freshman quarterback, he's still solid, and he's got 2 great receivers to throw the ball to. There really isn't much of an excuse for him. He's about to take a sack, and I think we're about to lose to UNLV as well. Here on 3rd and 10, we're going to look at our corner route first. We just threw the same route twice. But what's the point in getting some of the best transfer receivers in the country if they can't bring that in? Trust in our legs on 4th down. We got it. See, I don't even know if Drew Mama's going to get open versus the press over there on the left side. But he has the size to just go up and catch this ball. So we took a chance, and with 6 minutes left, it looks like we're going to get this one back within 3. A second ago, I didn't have much hope for this team, but now I think we'll still be able to figure things out. And that is sophomore JD Stick making his impact. 3rd and long. They didn't come close. Moses Ivory makes his tackle, cutting this to the left side. We might actually have a really solid return, and we can start to take our time. We're not in as much of a rush anymore, though that could have been a touchdown. What's weird about George, though, is he still doesn't feel like he has 94 speed, even though he does. Easy to find bars there, who's just sitting on a hitch. And I see the double team over on Drew's side of the field, except it didn't turn into a double team. He got over there. 2nd and 10. Maybe we didn't need to force that last one. Just got to run it on 3rd and 1 to pick this up. With the 2-minute timeout approaching, we're going to be patient. But injury timeouts sure are not helping us, and they just left the space in the defense. No matter what, we're probably going to leave some time on the clock. The question becomes, are we going to have it as a tie game, or are we going to have a 4-point lead? Looks like it's going to be a 4-point lead. As for the Rebels, they have been able to move it pretty far down the field against us. No shot. If he would have caught that ball for the game winner, I would have lost my mind. Rolling out here. They're going to probably just scramble out of bounds. And we're really trying to avoid giving up a huge play for a touchdown. They just threw it out of there. Okay, here we go. 4th and 3. We're watching the seams, and they got him. No. We played cover 3 match. We shouldn't have been in cover 3 there. I should have known. You just can't give the computer that much time at the end of the game, or they're going to do something with it. Hang on. Wait, break the tackle. And we're getting caught. That's it. This loss hurts more than the other 2, actually, because now I really don't think we're in the conference championship. During this same week, Oklahoma was able to land the commitment of Zaire Coleman. How are we still in 1st place for Roger Ringo? I was still making progress on us. And we are in a 3-way tie for 1st place. I'm not sure how this ends up working out, because I know we have the tiebreaker over the Wolfpack. Well, I have some great news. I went to check the conference schedule, and UNLV is playing against Nevada. So as long as we take down Air Force, we're going to find ourselves in the Mountain West Championship. It was never a question if we were going to win, though. We won by 21, so we've bounced back from our 3-game losing streak. And surprisingly, it's even enough for us to find ourselves inside the top 25 alongside the Wolfpack, but Eastern Michigan or FIU is going to be the highest rated conference champion from the group of 6. During conference championship week, though, something odd happened with Roger Ringo. Iowa just stopped going after him. They pulled the scholarship, which doesn't make much sense to me because they were gaining on us every single week. TCU could still win the battle as well, but the only thing I can think of is they were able to get another quarterback to commit. Where is their class even ranked? It's at number 60, and no other quarterback has decided to come here. So once again, I don't know why they pulled the scholarship, but maybe it had something to do with championship contender, which is his deal breaker. Theirs must be below a B-. That actually gives me a ton of hope that we could still win the battle during the transfer portal period. We just need it to extend to then. And what would be even better is if we don't lose in the Mountain West Championship again, so we can lift all of those recruiting restrictions that we have been dealing with. Every second of this 4th quarter is going to matter. With 7 minutes left, they're about to pick up this 3rd and 1. And I am so over this hurry-up offense. It is a pain to face off against. We didn't pick that? That would have put us in a much better spot. Nobody scored a touchdown in this game. We got the sack, though. And we were coming off of that edge hot. We're watching the hitch. No shot. He makes that throw. It's off target. Liggins has it. Josh Liggins is healthy again. I wonder if there's any major injuries we're facing on our team right now. None that I've noticed. But we know with 6 minutes remaining, this one is far from over. We're just going to hit Mooney underneath, and he is going to get around 5 defenders on one play. I'm really excited for how our freshman receiver is going to develop in the future. And we continue to just run it all over him. This is a pretty big 3rd and 2. That we're not converting. And it means our senior kicker is going to need to hit a 52-yard field goal to give us a 2-possession lead, which is easy for him. Just when they need to, though, Nevada starts turning it up offensively with a couple huge plays. They find themselves down at the 39. And I'm not even sure if we should accept this holding penalty, but I think we're going to. It would have been 4th and 10, so we've given them another play, but they also have to get 10 more yards on us. We're going to let them throw something short underneath if they really want to take it, or I guess we're just going to give up more yards than we should have. We literally had a zone right there, and now they're in field goal range. They can bring this back within a possession. That was one of the worst outcomes we could have had. At least we can still end this game with a 1st down, but that is sure not a given. And Gainwell is running out of bounds. We could have ended it there if he just stayed in bounds, but we're about to get to the first down marker. Or maybe we're not. We're marked short. There was an injury timeout on our side of the ball. They're not out of it. We really don't need much, but that's why they are stacking the line right here. I imagine every player is going to be trying to stop the run. And I refuse to put this game in the hands of our defense whenever they are clearly not capable of stopping Drew Mama one-on-one. We should have thrown it on third down. That was a risk I didn't want to take on fourth. But it pays off. We're going to win the Mountain West Conference and lift all recruiting restrictions. This basically gives us 5 seasons to build a national championship contender with anybody that's willing to play for Wyoming. And it seems like we're still going to have to deal with the departure of a lot of our guys that aren't happy with their playing time. George Fabuluhuju, I don't know how to say his last name. He's literally our starting running back. I don't know what else we could do to make him want to stay around. I guess he doesn't like his playing time at Wyoming. He's ready to jump to a bigger school, which is fair to him. And Boise State made it into the college football playoff as the number 21 team in the country. But that got me thinking. If we would have not lost one other game this season, that playoff spot would have been ours. Also, how are we not ranked above Nevada? We just beat them and we have a better record. I don't understand that. I really wanted George to return for a senior season because he is silver shifty, 94 speed, 99 acceleration, but his playing time grade is currently a D. We weren't playing Marcus Banks due to him. We were trying to keep him around, but maybe having him on the field is the reason that we lost a couple of those matchups. 28 points per game versus 22 points per game. I think we handle Liberty pretty easily. But then again, there were 3 times this season playing against teams worse than us that I thought we'd handle them easily, and we lost. All 3. In the fourth quarter, it's certainly not wraps, but we do have a 1-possession lead. And we continue to give George Fabelouge carries as we're trying to run out this clock. It might be his final game ever with us, but we're going to enjoy it. And it also just hit me. We're going to be losing our 2 star receivers at the end of this season as well. Trying to playmaker to get into the end zone. It's not going to work out, so we go back to the run, and that'll be a touchdown for Mike Shazer. He's the 4-star that we signed a couple seasons ago that also cares about playing time, so hopefully he doesn't transfer since he'd have the opportunity to be our key starter next year. They caught this on 4th down. Legitimately, what do you want me to do? All we're trying to do is just close this game out, and it might be Drew Mama's chance to beat the press. One final moment. Well, they locked him down there. 3rd down. We take the sack. And who would have thought winning a bowl game over 6-6 Liberty was going to be this much of a challenge for us? They just take the check down. It's going to be 4th and 6. I'm hoping that Corin Ramish doesn't realize that this is going to switch into a cover 2 from a cover 3. He just lofts it over the middle. I went for the hit stick. I wanted to knock that ball loose. But this game's looking like it could be another choke for us. 2-point conversion. We should probably have a QB spy out there in case he decides to scramble. There's a flag on the play. And they don't catch it. Is it holding? It is. It is holding. We're going to beat Liberty, assuming we recover the onside kick. It will be another bowl game win for us that we have. And I know it's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It's not like it's some impressive bowl, but we're starting to consistently win double-digit games with Wyoming. What more could you ask for? Demetrius Soro, as a freshman, also threw for 30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Again, if he sticks around and we don't get the 5-star, I think we're still going to be okay. It's just that 5-star looked incredible. And he's from Iowa, so he might appreciate just staying out in a place like Wyoming. 1,199 receiving yards from Tobias Bars as a senior. Drew Mama wasn't as impactful as I thought he'd be, but that's because he got outshined from the career reception leader at Wyoming, Tobias Bars. The only team that we still have to worry about for Roger Ringo is TCU. They're gaining a little bit more than we are every single week, but that's going to go to the offseason period. We can see Soma Knight's dev trait, Soma Kite actually. I've been reading it wrong this entire time. He is star. And our championship contender school grades looking good. Our coach prestige is solid as well, but the rest of them are still lacking behind. It's not going to be a simple process for us to build a roster that can compete with some of these best teams in the playoffs. And we have no hope at convincing Legend Boozer to return for his senior season, so getting elite dev players isn't always the best. Another guy that wants to transfer away is Trey Newcomb because our coach prestige fell to a B-. I thought we were going to stay to B+, but since it updated, we're losing our elite dev 2-star. I thought we lucked out. Headed into next season, we just lost our best 2 offensive linemen. I mean, this was the greatest 2-star I had ever found. Even after 744 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns as well, George Fablouge is not happy with his playing time. It's a D grade. He just wanted to get playing time elsewhere. He wasn't happy at Wyoming, so he is gone. And the only player that we convinced to return was Heath Flanagan. He'll be a decent tackle for us, but he sure is not on the same level as that elite dev left tackle. I thought we had the brightest future possible except we lost a lot of them here. We also have to wait until next season starts to lift our recruiting restrictions. So for now, all we can do is hope that we're able to close out this battle for Roger Ringo and one other wildcard player. Since Anthony Chambers cares about playing style, I don't think it's worth it to go after him. We could use another guard on our offensive line, or we could use a 4-star transfer, but most of these guys would just be one-year rentals. Nick Hawk is a quarterback that wouldn't be a one-year rental. He is a freshman from USC. We have to give him a chance to decide to come here as well, just in case we're not able to land Ringo, because he is looking incredible. Now, I don't think I'm going to worry about signing any 2-star transfers, just since we had such a large junior class. Next season, once the recruiting restrictions lift, we're going after plenty of 3-stars. And I think we'll have some team needs, but nothing too crazy. Looks like TCU's not going after Roger Ringo, so that is the quarterback that we're settled for. I don't care about Nick Hawk. I don't care about the number 9 receiver in the country. Jaden Armour committed, so we can't back out of him. And this is where the real half of the rebuild starts, where we have true hopes of a national championship. We were able to pull Roger Ringo out of Iowa without the Hawkeyes landing him. They're going to be salty about that for years, and it looks like Jaden Armour has impact development. But again, elite on Roger is the best thing we could have gotten. And since our class was super tiny, we might have the worst class in the country this season, but next year, we're going to have the best one in the Mountain West. To be competitive, we're going to have to as well. So many positions on our team will need replacements because they're seniors. Sorrell got a dev trade upgrade, but I hate to break it to him, even if he's reaching an 83 overall, he's not going to get the reins to this team. He's going to be our backup quarterback. Best player will be JD Stick at a 91. He's going to probably leave for the NFL early. And Reed Shazier is going to be our best offensive player. I don't think he'll be graduating early. His elusiveness can still get a lot better. 79 spin move just isn't doing it for me. But the rest of this offense, well, it's going to need our help. Ramen Mooney's probably our best receiver. We're about to lose 3 of our 4 tight ends. And we have a roster of just 69 players, with 33 of them being seniors that are going to graduate. So like half of our roster won't be around next year. These are some of the school grades that we're recruiting off of. Our conference prestige just rose to a B-. We actually jumped over the Pac-12, which I wasn't expecting. We're now the best group of 6 conference behind the American, and Roger Ringo, our future for the next 3 to 4 seasons, has 1 skill cap for health. That is it. It'll be interesting to see how the computer progresses his career. On the recruiting side of things, I've offered a scholarship to plenty of 3-stars that nobody else has offered a scholarship to. Maybe by the end of the season, some of them will sign with us. And then near the top of our board is where we're going after 4-stars, where we're going to go after a couple different 5-stars. One of them, we're in competition against Nebraska. And the other one, Jamison Hepburn, he's a receiver from Minnesota, as a 5-star gym. So I'm really hoping we could sign him. 91 medium route running as a true freshman is incredible. I don't typically like the elusive route runner archetype, but we're going to have to work with it if we could sign him. And our first game against Purdue, I see that we went 1-0, but our championship contender dropped down to a B+. Maybe it's because other people around the country saw that we were fraudulent, though. Before we played against North Texas, that's where they smoked us 63-17. It's hard to believe the Mean Green are beating us that bad, but they dropped 606 total yards of offense against us. And we gave up 8 passing touchdowns to senior quarterback Rico Fonseca. This doesn't even feel like a real stat line. It sure does not make me feel great about how stuff in Mountain West Conference play is going to go. And not only do we have to keep our championship contender grade up to retain some of the guys on our roster, plus the players we're pursuing, but our playing style as well. Now, against the Spartans, our offense really got things going. Defensively, we're still struggling. We gave up more yards than we had. And our playing style has also not been good enough to keep going after this 4-star. For the 2 5-stars right now, we're in a tight battle with Nebraska. No one else wants Jamison Hepburn still. And most of these other battles, we're still the only school pursuing some of these players. We have a week 8 visit set up against NIU for a lot of them, but Florida State has come into the picture on Alex Tobin. So we're actually just going to give up on him. He's from Florida. He had a tier 5 pipeline there. We were not going to win that battle. Lots of receivers we should be able to get. It's just going to take some time to sign them. I feel like we should be able to win at New Mexico. We're not going to play it. I was trying to think ahead to some of the games that we lost last season, but we dropped that one against the Lobos, which means we're currently 3-2. With our championship contender falling, we can't go after Alexander Folkerts, the 5-star tackle who was on a visit this next week. We also have discovered LSU has entered the battle for Derek, and the main grade I'm recruiting all of those players off of is championship contender, so even if we get them, they could transfer out any season where we don't have success. Now, I felt like we should be able to sim against Northern Illinois, where players like Ethan Robinson are visiting. It looks like we were successful in landing a couple commitments, and that's because we came out on top 27-17, but we've have seen our team in back-to-back years struggle with the true freshman QB. That is why we're going to be taking the trip to Hawaii. Even though they're 2-4, we're not going to watch our rivals beat us 2 seasons in a row. And I'm glad that they have fixed the bug in this game where at one point in the year, all of Hawaii games were night games. They might have fixed this early in the year and I just wasn't paying attention. But there was a moment when I was trying to decide what team I wanted to do my first rebuild series with. We just got a flag on 3rd down. And anyway, every game in Hawaii was a night game, which was one of the reasons I didn't choose the Rainbow Warriors. They typically kick off earlier, like 6 p.m. at the latest, because they already are 5 hours behind the East Coast. So for all their games to start as night games kicking off on like 8 o'clock West Coast time, it just didn't make sense immersion-wise for me. That was a laser, by the way. It's going to put us up by 8. And something the Rainbow Warriors have struggled with in this entire game has just been moving the football. They're on a 4th down here that they actually converted. We had a field goal too. It was midway through this quarter after we held them to a 3-and-out. So I thought this game was wrapped up, but they're right back in it. It is really hard to finish off some of these matchups. Watching the slant, you don't have anything open, but all the time in the world. And even if they don't recover this onside kick, they still have 2 timeouts left. I'm not sure why we're running a read option because Ringo doesn't have much speed on him. That should have been a fumble. And we might as well just go through the air. We know that we need 1 first down. Underneath, we got Darian Skaggs. He's a senior and he has it. So that is going to move us to 5-2. It's a rivalry win, but since it was close, I feel glad that we hopped in. And the following week, we're playing our other rivals, Colorado State, but we can't hop into this. It's a non-conference game. Even though we won, these matchups are still way too close for comfort. And I've been wondering if we need to go more heavy in the tactician tree. We've been saving up our coach points for a couple seasons now. I think we're going to. I think we're going to at least make sure our defensive backs are getting the biggest overall boost that they can, and our defensive line is too. If we win another bowl game, our strategist tree opens up. That's another way I like to upgrade our coach. But we still have to make it happen in the first place, and I'm shocked at how badly we just beat Nevada. Typically, they're really good. I think we're going to hop in against UTEP and UNLV. Though if we ignore the minors, we still have these 2 teams on our schedule to finish out the year, and if we face off against both of them and win, we can guarantee our spot in the conference championship. Another thing to note is we've been able to get 4 4-stars to commit so far. We have another few guys on our board still that we are waiting on, including Alexander Folkerts. Nebraska's dropped out of the battle. I'm guessing their championship contender fell low. So that's some solid news. And like I said, we might as well just sim past this one. UTEP is a 57. I want to control our destiny against the final 2 teams on our schedule. We're number 23 in the country. Only 4 players currently want to transfer. So you know that means we won this game. And with 519 total yards of offense, that means Roger Ringo's starting to get a little more comfortable. It's not like we've been able to effectively run the football. In fact, we're missing our starting running back. And when Reed Shazzer is injured, the drop-off after him to these 3 seniors, especially with how slow they are, is rough. He's going to be out with a broken ankle for 7 weeks, so we're missing him the rest of his junior season. And I'm not sure how that's going to affect us in these final couple matchups. Truthfully, we need to win both of our final games just because our championship contender grade cannot fall below like a B+. And with a few minutes left in this one, look at us running the football with some 80 speed running backs. Honestly, Onwu Zurich hasn't been that terrible for us. But if we have an option to not give it to Kofi and throw the ball instead, we're still taking it. This is a pretty massive 3rd and 3. And eventually, Kofi will get open. So the pressure is all on UNLV. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left. Handoff, 4-9. And the jet touch pass is going to get us another first down. We didn't need to do anything too impressive on offense to win this game. But we also haven't been able to end this one even with the touchdown here. I mean, we'd close it out from there, but our clock management could have been better. At the time, I didn't realize how huge it was for us to win there, but it is a major deal because we signed both of the 5-stars, including Jamison Hepburn the Gym. And we've also stayed on Terrell Ruddock this entire season, even though he cares about playing style. That grade's now up to an A-. LSU's trying to tail us at the end, but I still think we'll be able to close that out. Let's finish out this season strong against Air Force. I'm gonna save bringing out our blackout jerseys for the conference championship game, which I think we're automatically in, but there's simply no way we're able to pull off this comeback. I mean, they've got a double team over there on Ramen Mooney, and he still won't catch this. Either way, though, when I hopped in 20-9, couldn't get a stop on defense against Air Force. I mean, they are boxing us up here. We are literally just about to throw this one up, which they've got someone else over to. It was over either way. If you thought I was pulling off an 18-point comeback with this offense that doesn't have much talent, you've lost your mind. I mean, this offense is probably the least talented we've had over the past 3 seasons. And as frustrating as it is that we're going to drop out of the top 25, we're still in the game that matters the most. If our championship contender grade drops any further, though, we're going to start seeing some of our commitments flip. And it was only a matter of time before we'd start losing some of our coordinators. At least it was our defensive coordinator, who's worse than Major Applewhite. We're going to have to fill that void last week. There was a chance we missed this conference championship as well with that loss. And San Jose State in 4th place in the Mountain West was sitting inside the top 25, so our conference prestige might continue to elevate as we go forward. At the moment, our offense is depleted. Without a good running back to lean on, and with all of our receivers being like 80 overalls or lower, we can't move the football well. And we also didn't get to wear our blackout jerseys. UNLV on the 6-yard line might be able to convert this 3rd and 8, but if we hold them short, we'll be in a spot where it shouldn't be too hard to get into field goal range. In fact, that punt didn't go far at all, so we're basically there already. Trying to run the football hasn't worked as well against the Rebels. In fact, that's one of the best runs we've had all day. We might see Gainwell pop open here, though. On 3rd down, get out of our way. We got the first. So UNLV is going to start using timeouts. They are feeling the pressure. It's so weird that our offense has regressed the way that it has after the past 2 seasons. It's ugly. But we're trying to do what we can to win. Tight end gets open versus the linebacker. Gainwell's got it. So as time is going to expire in this one, we're coming out on top. That is back-to-back seasons where we have run the Mountain West. And in reality, we should never lose the conference again. We've gone from being the underdog to being the overwhelming favorite in the Mountain West. And every team has their game against us circled on their schedule. For our bowl matchup, we're getting NC State. This isn't going to be simple, but I like the challenge. I still think we should be able to win this one even without much of an offense, just because we have a great defense. And there's 3 options of who we could hire at the defensive coordinator position. I like Quentin Pope the most because he is a little bit of tactician and motivator as a mix. So we've offered him the job, but we won't know for a little bit. We got star dev on the right tackle and elite dev on wide receiver Jamison Hepburn. We already knew that we were going to pull in the best recruiting class we've had so far, and this better not be a waste on our blackout jerseys. We've never lost a game in them. Well, you see the position that we're in by the time we can play. It's an absolute disaster. NC State cannot convert this 3rd down. But they did, and even though we eventually held them to a field goal, I just think that we're trailing by far too much to come back. Ringo has no help on this team. No star receiver to force the ball to. And also, one of the worst offensive lines that we've had in a very long time. I don't know what the answer is, but on 4th and 16, we need to convert, and our tight end drops the football. So the LA ball is going to go about as poorly as it could have, a 33-3 loss. We also did not get Pope. He decided that he would take a job at Eastern Michigan instead, though it looks like we're going to have an opportunity to get Jason Eck. He was an architect. I didn't really want that, but we're still going to be willing to work with him because he's the highest level coach there by a lot. I feel bad for Roger Ringo because he came here and just didn't have many guys to throw the ball to. Still had almost 4,000 passing yards, which is impressive. We didn't run the football that well because Reed got hurt early on in the season. And you know what? The fact that we still stumbled to 10 wins is extremely impressive under those circumstances. Now, if we wanted to have any shot at getting to the playoff next season, maybe even the season after, we'd need to use the transfer portal this year, but almost our entire class is out of high school at the moment. Josh Liggins, do not leave the program now. You stayed here for so long, and when he actually becomes good, he is going to transfer. When it comes to graduation, we're going to lose a lot of guys as well, but none of their overalls are going to be anything too impressive, even if they were starting for us. It was basically just a bunch of 2-stars that had a successful career for their standards. As we check out our board headed into the first week of the offseason, I'm going to look to close out on a lot of these battles, but then go after a couple 4-star defensive backs that still want to come to our program, and they're not going to be a 1-year rental. The thing is, if Georgia decides that they want either one of these players, they're probably going to get them. But I can understand why, and the good news is Georgia didn't decide to go after either one of them. These other schools don't have a huge pipeline bonus, so I'm not even going to guess hard sells. We're just going to schedule a week 4 visit with a lot of complimentary stacked. That is literally almost the only only thing I did during the transfer portal period. I'm gonna have to click through like 30 different player signings, or I could just close app. Though we have found out very soon Derek Vernon has committed to our school. Are we also going to see the 4-star safety? I wasn't patient enough to find out. It is quicker to just restart the game and go back in. And it looks like LaMichael May has also chosen our team. We've signed a class of 35 players, which we really needed to replace the 35 players that left. Mostly everybody's going to be normal or impact development, but there were a couple stars sprinkled in. And to my surprise, our recruiting class finished ranked number 11 in the country. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to finish that high, but if you compare it to the rest of the Mountain West, there is no reason we should still be losing games. Especially if those guys just stick around for a couple years and keep on developing. Our conference is still ranked 7th in the country. And just look at the number of freshman receivers alone that we have brought in. So far, I think one of my favorite conversions has been moving thumper linebackers down to the defensive line. Derek Burgess has star development, so he's going to start as a true freshman for us at left end. And Lay continues to be a great signing for us because he has upgraded his dev trait to star right after coming in. We should have known getting a 4-star transfer safety was always going to work out well for us. Some of the progression on Clayton Fallon and JD Stick is incredible. Our defensive line is really good at 2 positions at least. And Demetri Soro is still the better quarterback in this room over Roger Ringo. But that's because, for whatever reason, the computer decides that it's best to progress a pocket passing quarterback with his quickness the most. He's up to 87 speed. That is a little frustrating, but either way, I do think our roster got a little bit better than it was last season. Even if our overall is lower than it was the year before, we have 19 seniors we're going to have to replace, 35 freshmen now. And for a lot of them, wherever we can redshirt, we're going to, but if they're going to make an instant impact, then we're not going to be able to redshirt. Now, just like last year, a lot of the 4-stars that we're going to be targeting this season are wide receivers. They just get overlooked most of the time. I like to go after players that we have a pretty solid chance at landing. So we're always going to have good receivers on this team. We even found one gym, but there's no 5-stars on our board. And I think that's the first time there hasn't been a 5-star on there in quite a few seasons. We're opening up the year against the other team that wears gold and brown. We got to be the better one. And we are. We beat Western Michigan 49-23, but look at who is coming up after playing an FCS school. We got number 18 Maryland on the road on our schedule. It's the toughest game we've played non-conference since Miami. And you know the drill. With how our schedule looks at the end of the season, if we win games like this, you never know. We might go undefeated in the regular season. We're also healthy, and we have a running back that is just a junior. He didn't go to a senior because he was able to redshirt since he only played 2 games last year. And if there's anything we can take away from his impact on this game, do not sleep on the impact of Reed Shazer. On 3rd down, we get the sack. Derek Burgess was able to get some pressure. I think that's the freshman that had a good dev trait off of the edge. That kick will just sneak in. And we basically have 6.5 minutes to score a field goal and win this game over number 18 Maryland. Now, they have gotten us to a 3rd and 6, but they're going with man-to-man coverage, and our drag wasn't open. Getting held to a 3-and-out isn't ideal. Also, we don't have a punter on this team. I forgot to recruit at that position, and they didn't sign us a solid walk-on, so we're going to struggle there all year, but we can get the interception on 3rd and 4. Our defense coming up clutch for us, and we're right back in the spot that we were like a minute ago. All we have to do is score a field goal. At some point, though, Ringo will need to throw the football, which he does. And I think we can trust Roger. He's had a year to get a little bit better. Over on the sideline, he throws a pick. To be fair, he was a second too late to that read. They are getting stopped, though. So this 4th quarter in the rain has just been a back and forth of neither team being able to move the football, and we're given one final opportunity. Surely we can get 3. We might be looking for the true freshman here in man-to-man coverage. Is he going to get his separation? Hepburn does. And that is a huge play. Now our offense can get things rolling. 2nd and 1. They're not really watching the bubble. So Jamerson Hepburn gets another big play. And we've been blessed with receivers at Wyoming in this video. I feel like we always have some good young ones making an impact. However, just like we didn't get a punter, we have a 60 overall kicker. And I'm not sure how far he can hit from because Maryland isn't calling timeouts like this is going to be a freebie for us. After that run, they finally called their first one, so I'm assuming they think we can hit from here, but we're going to get this first. And there's no longer much the Terrapins can do. We are just going to settle for 3. No reason to get in. If we finish off this drive with about 30 seconds left on a touchdown, I wouldn't be upset. You just never know what is going to happen here, but most likely, we're starting this season 3-0 with a win over a top 25 team. It is setting up to be the best year Wyoming has ever had in this rebuild. But here's the thing, ever since we went 12-2, every season our record gets a little bit worse. It would be really upsetting if we let down the media once again, because they always have us ranked within the first couple weeks. Our expectations are high. Part of that might have to do with our blue chip ratio though. It's 25%, which is really impressive for a school like Wyoming. We're trying to make it higher by signing a bunch of these 4-stars. We have some of our most competitive battles on a visit week 6. We saw Notre Dame enter this one at the last second. And then Georgia decided that they wanted Dom Lyles. I don't think there is anything that we can do here. It's probably a waste of hours to even go after him. With the Spartans being good again at 4-1 and our big visit week of the year being this game, we have to hop in. And I know that we cursed them last year when we lost in the blackout jerseys, so we had to redeem them. We've brought them back for this game, and we've only given up 7 points so far. They have the size mismatch. We still broke it up. And then they punted it back to us, which has just allowed us to control the clock, up by 16 points. I don't think the Spartans are winning this game. We're going to impress those visiting recruits. In fact, we won this game 40-7, so we're going to get credit for a blowout. That'll give us an even bigger bonus. What a performance from Reed. And here's the thing. It led to one commitment. We got the left tackle, but it hasn't been effective in closing out some of these other battles where our hard sells just aren't that impressive. Like Notre Dame is most likely still going to get Ken O'Connor or Penn State. Same thing with LSU on Doug Roth. I thought we'd be able to win here, but now our odds aren't looking as great, and we can't just expect to be anybody. That's what we learned the past couple years. Each time that we come out on top, we got to be really thankful for it. Looks like our offense finally figured things out. 63 points against New Mexico. I think that's one of the best games that Roger Ringo has had ever since he committed here, and just our team in general. We are going to hop in against the Huskies. They're 5-2. I don't care they're 59 overall. We have a lot of momentum right now. We're trying to close out on some of these 4-stars. It's just not the time in the season to pick up a loss. And you could argue it was a waste of a game to hop into, but we got to hold them scoreless. They're not even trying to score in the final 15 seconds due to how bad of a beatdown that we just gave them. One final return isn't happening. But we gave them the hammer and they could not handle it. To my surprise, during that matchup, we got Ken O'Connor to commit over Notre Dame and Penn State. So even if we're going to lose out on the other 4-star edge who wants to stay in the state of Louisiana, I can't even blame him for wanting to play for LSU. We are still cooking in recruiting and we have moved up to number 13 in the country. I'm surprised that we've been able to climb that far with Wyoming this early in the year. Typically, to get up to number 13, you got to be like 10-0 with a group of 6 team. But again, because we've been signing 4-stars over the past couple years, our blue chip ratio is high enough to help boost us up. JD Stick is also going out with a bang. He started as a linebacker. We put him on the defensive line, and he is leading the Mountain West in career sacks. He's the highest overall player on this team without tactician bonuses, a 95 overall in his career. Looks like he's going to be nearing 40 sacks by the end of this season. And he still has 5 games to make a lot happen as well. It almost feels like we need to play against Colorado State. That means we're going to have to sim our Final Four matchups. We don't know how we're going to finish in Mountain West play, but I can't lose to them. So far this year, they're 6-1. They're our rivals. They're going to want to walk into our stadium and ruin all of our momentum. And what did I say? I knew this matchup would turn out to be close. We still have 4.5 minutes left with just a 2-point lead. And since we know that we don't have a punter on this team, this immediately becomes 4-down territory. We're just not going to need the 4th down. For Adonis Brake to be getting a lot of carries, though, do not tell me that once again we're dealing with injuries there. And we are. Reed Shazer broke his collarbone in this game. We don't even know how long he's going to be out for. I would say that's probably going to put him out for the rest of the year. At least about 2 months. So listen, I'm fortunate. I've had a lot of concussions, but I've never broken a bone still. To this day, 23 years. And I feel more blessed than ever. I really don't know what it would be like. I'm not sure how I got away with that. I've always played sports, been active, so you would just assume it'd come at some moment. But maybe we should have been more locked in to having a good 3rd down play call, because now we're going to have to trust our defense here at the end. I highly doubt that we're going to get them off of the field on 4th and 3. There was no way they were running the football there, and that ball was just out of reach. He makes a man miss. Are you kidding me? Colorado State's about to take the lead. The worst part is we knew exactly where that ball was going to. Lay just could not put his hands on it, and once again, he couldn't. Our undefeated season is on the line. We're going to open up the drive with a 5-yard pass. Roger Ringo knows we don't need huge gains here. We just need to be safe. We forced that one a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to have our backup running back out of the backfield. And Adonis Brake is just a freshman. I wasn't expecting him to be able to catch that ball. Honestly, I thought Teray was just going to sit on a curl there, though where he took his route was so much better. 30 seconds left. We're going to look for our zig. and they've actually locked that up so well. Jamerson Hepburn can't be getting locked up like that. 9-yard run, catching him off guard. And we are going to look for a quick read to our running back. Maybe we hit this hitch route. And we got it! It's the catch that is going to get us the win, celebrating in their face. And the undefeated season is just staying alive as we win the bronze boot. Since we decided to play that game, though, we're trusting our team to win our final 4 games in Sim. And when it comes to topping out this recruiting class on the 3-star side of things, everything is very solid. We're not seeing much competition so far. If we do, we'll just put more hours into them. I even remembered to get us a couple guys for our special teams. And then for the 4-stars, if we're able to get both of these receivers, we're going to finish this class with 7 4-stars because LSU got the edge like I mentioned, and Louisville was able to win out on TJ Luck just barely. I'm surprised they did as well. They're only 4-4 this season. Well, I went to check out our injury report, and Shazer is nowhere to be seen. And I don't know how that worked out. It said he broke his collarbone, yet all he had to do was miss a little bit of the game against Colorado State. I know I said I've never broken a bone before, but I've kept up enough with football to know that's a pretty serious injury. And if he's going to be healthy for us to close out this season, I don't see why we would lose any of these games. We've already clinched a spot in our conference championship, even if we lose these last 2. But we stopped just flying up the rankings, so that is a little bit of a change. That one was a little bit too close for comfort, but we did beat the Rebels by 3 points. So Air Force, who is 3-8, is the final team that could get in our way. If we're ranked number 10 in the country, I don't think that they did. So just take a second to appreciate this season of beauty. Maryland finished 4-8, so them being number 18 in the country wasn't as impressive of a win, but San Jose State is going to be in the top 25 again. And I'm not sure what they're doing to get rankings this high, because it's not like they've been in the Mountain West Championship consistently. If we can just take care of business for one more game, we're going to find ourselves in the college football playoff for the first time, and it's all because of Reed Shazer. He adds a whole different dimension to our offense. A playoff berth is something that we could seriously continue to build on as we try and get Wyoming to that national championship level. And it feels like by the time that we get to make an impact on this game, it is already over. We're going for a touchdown here, and we're not going to get it. But UNLV's offense has been a shell of itself versus what it was a couple weeks ago. Now, I am frustrated by giving up that 4th and 16. It has kept the Rebels in this game for a little longer, but on 4th and 1, they're running for it, and they're going to get more than just a first down. I'm not putting it past this team to blow a lead whenever it feels like we should just be able to take care of business. And they got their first touchdown, but we recovered that onside kick so easily. Problem is, we're struggling to move the football, and we're not going to get the first down, which means they could get the stop. 3 minutes remaining, 4th and 2. We're going for the toss, and we have the first down plus a lot more. That play was the difference maker that has gotten us our 3rd straight Mountain West Championship. And like I said, the more of these that we can win as we continue to build momentum, the harder it's going to be for other teams in our conference to keep up. I mean, we got a guy at quarterback that could be in the Heisman running by his senior season if he sticks around. There's also the chance he leaves for the NFL early, depending on his progression. And I absolutely love that playoff draw. Roger Ringo threw 32 touchdowns, 5 picks, almost 4,000 yards. This is what I'm saying. If he gets that total up to 50 touchdowns in the future, which is very possible, he could be winning a Heisman Trophy for all we know. Reed Shazer, 1,200 yards, 19 touchdowns. I really hope he returns, but he's a 91 overall. He's probably gone to the NFL. And if Jamison Hepburn is our best receiver as a freshman already, 13 receiving touchdowns, he is only going to be in college for 3 seasons. I also don't typically keep up much with defensive stats, but JD Stick is going to finish with 10 sacks. Our true freshman Derek Burgess has 7.5. And just take a look at this bracket. If we get past the Cougars, we have to face number 1 Georgia. As for the dev traits on our 7 4-stars in this class, one of them has elite. It's going to be a receiver, Eric the Gym, physical route runner. It's a great archetype. And I think he'll stick around because he cares about pro potential. We've been pretty good at putting receivers into the NFL. We score more points per game than Houston. We might have a lead in this game by the 4th quarter. The sickest part about it is we get to host a home playoff game, but there's no snow. We are now in December. Still no snow in Wyoming, even though this is the most likely place for it to snow in college football. And it could have added so much to a game where we've held the Cougars to just 3 points so far. They take their check down, only getting 3. So now it's 3rd and goal. Of course, they're going to the air again, and we get the interception with Doomerville. I almost wanted to pitch it so we'd have a better chance at returning it. But if the junior linebacker did that and Houston was able to recover, I would have never forgave it. Now, Reed Shazer did sprain his foot in this game, so he's not going to be out there on the field as we try and close this one out. But it's not like we're going to need much. We're going to need a few first downs and some well-run routes and catches. This team is solid all around. Our next 3rd down, we drop. And if we don't pick this up, we'll be giving Houston a short field. But like I said, we don't have a punter we can trust. He literally kicks the football like 15 yards. It's not even worth it to punt the ball. And the longer this goes on for, the worse it was looking for Houston. We got that. We got that ball somehow. That is going to put us on a 3rd and 12, which we're not coming close to. But again, this team doesn't have guys on our special teams we can trust, so we're going for it on 4th and 6. That's basically going to end this game. And our fans really deserve that. They got to watch a home playoff win. We're also only on year 7, so we still have this year and then 3 more seasons to win it all with the Cowboys. The way things are setting up, you would think a championship is coming in this 10-year time frame. But you never know. When we're drawing teams like Georgia in the 2nd round, it's hard to get much farther. I imagine by the time we get to hop in the 4th quarter here, they're going to have a 14-point lead. That's just my prediction. If it ends up being any less than that, we are more than blessed. And what type of situation are we walking into? We're currently up 20-17, and we also got Shazer back. We finished this drive with a touchdown. We have a 2-possession lead on the Bulldogs. And here on 2nd and 3, our tight end is open with a snag. We control our destiny right now. This run is going to get us another first. And I've been surprised at how our offensive line has done against Georgia. I wasn't sure if we'd be able to run the ball with ease. Here's the thing, though. It took them 3 plays to score. 2 of them were massive passing plays. So we still have to run out the rest of this clock. And I really wish at the very least it took them longer to get into the end zone. There is a lot of time remaining in this game, and they just locked us up. We shouldn't have even thrown that ball. We should have thrown that away. This is the type of choking that goes on whenever I'm in control of this team. What is that boost? Okay, we just got to lock in. It is 3rd and 11. We're hitting them with some cover 4 quarters, and that's mostly some man-to-man looks where they got their guy. If we held them to a field goal, I'd be feeling a lot more confident than I currently do. We've brought some guys down into the box because I figured they might decide to run. But now I've also decided to start calling timeouts because I don't know if they're going to get into the end zone here or not, and they do with ease. We have exactly 1 minute to drive down the field and win a playoff game with Wyoming, starting off losing 3 yards. And then I just realized I accidentally left chew clock on. So we're down to 21 seconds. This is quite possibly the worst start we could have had, but opportunity for a huge play and we drop it. I can't believe we went from having a 10-point lead in this game to now trailing by 4, but we're making up for the last play. And it is crucial that we either go towards the sideline here, or at least we get like 20, 30 yards. We can't fit it in. Well, there's only 7 seconds remaining now, and Georgia's getting the sack. So that does not give me much hope for this last play, and we're not even close to reaching the end zone with this. Can't get a flag or anything. What a disappointing way to go out. Half of that is my fault for not remembering that 2 clock was on. But you know what? We ended up losing by 4 to the eventual national champion, so I can't even be upset. I guess our team was a lot better than I thought it was. Johnny Toure not happy with his playing time. He came in as a 4-star, and he's got normal dev. He's going to decide to stick around. We're not going to get the 3-star, and we also are losing Demetrius Soro. He should be leaving now. The 2-star had hopes of getting more playing time, and we just replaced him. Of the guys that we're losing, JD Stick was a real monster, and so was Clayton Fallen on the defensive line. Those are 2 huge losses that I don't think we're just going to be able to replace. That's probably going to set us back in this next year. We could always pick up a couple of these transfers, but if they're just going to be 1-year rentals, again, I'm not really looking forward to getting a lot of these guys. I don't think we have a great chance at landing most of them anyway. But ultimately, I have caved. I took some of the 3-stars we were guaranteed to land off of our board as we try and chase some of these 4-star younger transfers. After a couple of weeks, there are some of these transfers that we're in great positions for, or decent positions. We actually took a huge lead on Notre Dame for Vince Russ, but we've also lost some of them to schools like LSU, which makes sense. Oregon is going to have the better pipeline here, so they should win. And by the final week of the transfer portal period, there were a couple I'm skeptical on whether or not we're going to close out the battles for, but the rest of them I'm feeling pretty confident. Well, we added DeAndre Stingley, a defensive tackle, to our board at the last second. He was a senior that no one else wanted, so I thought we'll pick him up, but we aren't going to get Vince Russ. We had him on a week 2 visit. It was a little bit too soon since Notre Dame had a better pitch. But every other battle we have won, Eric continues to be the only Elite Dev player in this class, and we finished ranked 1 spot lower than last year's with no 5-stars. We're number 12 in the country. I really just don't see how the Mountain West even stands a chance against us in the next 3 seasons. It's been a pleasant surprise with these school grades, and in our location, we've even been able to recruit this well, but our blue chip ratio is up to 32%, and we are number 2 in championship contender rank. I highly doubt that's going to translate to the preseason ratings, but we're just going to have to find out. Looks like Reed Shazer never left us as well. I wasn't even paying attention to this, but the 93 overall is going to have a great senior year. It actually works out for us. He got injured a year and a half ago, and we recruited him back when we still had only a few wildcard players we could sign every season. He was worth it. Not the fastest guy in the world, but still effective. Roger Ringo is probably going to return for a senior season unless our championship contender grade falls and he transfers, so we need to start recruiting another QB to sit behind him. And another couple weaker spots on our roster are going to be our running back room in the future and also our cornerback room, so we're going to recruit really well at those positions, but we don't want to sign too many guys because if we look at our sophomore and freshman class, that combines for 62 players. I really don't want to have to cut anybody that's currently on this team in the future, and just like I predicted, even though our championship contender grade looked like it was super high, it was based off of last season's rankings. We're going to start this one at number 20. That is still enough to get us on the radar of a lot of these 4-star prospects. I know I said I wasn't going to pull in a big class, but there are quite a few I would still like to land here. They'd have a couple seasons to develop for us, even 5-star busts. And at the top of our board, he cares about playstyle, so I don't know how long Rayshon Hewitt's going to be open to coming to Wyoming. Only 86 speed, but he's a contact seeker from Kentucky. I'm trying to get him out of my home state, and we have a couple QB options. Neither one of these players is anything I'm too sold on, but they both fit our playstyle. We get a pocket passer. That's what we've been recruiting. And I think for like the last 3 or 4 seasons, our quarterbacks always throw for about 4,000 or more yards. Our non-conference slate isn't one that we're just going to be able to simulate with ease, though, because we have to play New Mexico State and then at Iowa. I'm not sure if I'm going to hop in against the Hawkeyes because I know I should hop in at San Jose State, but I'm definitely considering it, and New Mexico State is going to not be a 52 overall. Their team is a 66, so there would be no excuses for us to fall to them, and I'm more curious with how this roster stacks up against Iowa. We have 6 players above a 90 overall. They have 4. They're pretty similar, which is why if we simulate this game, we're most likely going to lose. I want to hop in. I know we lost a couple guys from last year on our defensive line, but this team is still capable of beating a team like the Hawkeyes. We returned enough of our talent. And don't forget our quarterback, Roger Ringo, decided to choose us instead of staying in his state. He better not lose this game. We're hopping in, trailing by 7, but we had enough time for him to place this one on the sideline. Just a little bit out of reach, and if they're going to press Hepburn on the outside again, we're going to potentially just take that look 2 times in a row. I don't even know if he's that fast, but it's put in the right spot. Roger Ringo is a pocket passer. If he isn't making that throw, then he's just not living up to what he is. But then again, the computer did focus on upgrading his speed over everything else, and that really showed there. We got the stop. The real question has become, though, are we going to get anything out of our drive? And the answer is going to be no, because we took that sack on 3rd down. If we can get to this ball, we would have had it in a good spot. Once again, Iowa is on a 3rd and short where we're trying to get them off of the field. I don't know if we're going to be able to get over there, and we left him open. The longer this drive goes on, the more worried that I get, but maybe we could get a 3rd and 8 stop. Just got to watch for this cut over the middle, and they're going to test us. We get the interception. Even better, they're not getting a field goal out of this drive. No pick 6. But you know what? We just need to get one more good drive. Although we have struggled, it is still doable. Waiting for the cut on the inside. Though our offense is kind of getting boxed by Iowa. I mean, we know that their defense is going to be pretty good. Had to make sure we didn't step out of bounds here. It's going to be an absolute money throw. And the way that we just improvised that play out of thin air was beautiful. We are still a little bit out of our kicker's range, though, so we had to look out of the backfield. Shazer gets plenty of space. And I don't think Iowa can even get this ball back, especially if we get another 1st down. Eventually, we get it down to no time left, kick this field goal, and we're going to escape with a win. If we're going to win one of these 4-star quarterbacks, though, we have to decide which one we're choosing, and I put Leonard Tam on a visit first, which means that's the kid we're going with. Florida's going to be able to take over Marco. And deal breakers are starting to come up about playing style on the 5 stars that were on our board. We kind of knew this would always happen. It's why I don't like to recruit based off of it, but I was really hoping this time would be different, and of course it wasn't. It's time to just get into this ranked matchup in the Mountain West. I'm not sure we've had a top 25 matchup like this more than once. Our conference has gotten a lot better than we thought the Mountain West would, and truthfully, this game has just been a joke. 9-0 in the 4th quarter. There's no way that both our offenses are actually this bad. My theory is the stats and the plays are not equal whenever you slow sim inside a game. For whatever reason, they just don't put up good numbers. And it should adjust to whatever your quarter length is. I'm not going to put this game on 15-minute quarters so we can get realistic stats. It's just another thing that's going to hurt our playstyle that we're trying to recruit off of even more. But that score helped us close out this game, and it will look good for our defense. Up next on the schedule, we got 3-1 New Mexico on the road, so it feels like we're getting a lot of our hardest games early on. And look at that, in this matchup, Roger Ringo has set the Wyoming career passing yards record. He's only a junior. Do you know how wild it is that it's only taken him 34 games, 2.5 years to do that? Statistically, he's not even having that great of a season. He's averaging like 1.2 passing touchdowns per game, but we're winning. And it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. We even just edged out Hawaii on the road by 2 points. We can still hop into one game this season. Might have to be against Colorado State, even though we got 4 Mountain West games left. And that's because with the way things are setting up, we have the tiebreaker versus San Jose State, and I can't imagine on us missing out on the conference championship. Something that might happen, though, is we lose one of these recruiting battles to Miami, Ohio. They have a tier 3 pipeline, and they're making a push for J.D. Martino, this cornerback. While Georgia in the last 2 weeks came out of nowhere on Antoine Annan, and I have a feeling that they're going to take him away unless we can win this visit. I swear, it never works the way that you want it to. It seems like it's going smooth, but at the last second, you lose those battles. Except Antoine Annan has still decided he'd rather be a Cowboy. I can see why, though. He visited during this game where we dropped 63 points, 624 total yards of offense against Nevada, so we just put on a show. And I really should hop in against Colorado State, but at the same time, I feel like I remember last year we didn't play this game and we won with ease. I don't know, it's been a few hours. I went and had dinner with my parents, so that might not be the case. I see that we lost from this screen. We're 8-1. We've fallen to number 18 in the country, and we should have just played that one. We're going to win these last 3 in sim either way. I'm so confident in that. I'm not even going to knock on wood. I'm just going to sim through these weeks as well. We're going to see where we are sitting at the end of the regular season. Sure enough, our schedule just hasn't updated for whatever reason, so we're going to restart the game. And there it is, 59-35, 62-17, 56-20. Just good results proving that we're the number 8 team in the country, and San Jose State with 2 losses is number 9. I had to see the type of schedule that they're playing to get these rankings. They won at number 18 Houston, they lost to number 24 North Texas, and they lost to us. So that adds up. I'm just shocked to see our conference getting that much respect. We still have a deal breaker for the 5-star running back. Literally nobody seems to be able to go after him. Miami beat us out for this corner. So losing to Miami, Ohio is not the proudest recruiting battle loss that we've ever had. But for a lot of these other players, it looks like we're going to close out on all of them. To already have 11 4-stars committed before the transfer portal period is a very successful class. And we just have to win the game that we already seem to win every season. I'm not sure if this sim system really likes us though, or maybe San Jose State is just that good. As you can see, they're up by 7 in the last 6 minutes, but we have a 91 speed pocket passing elite dev QB. Due to his archetype, he will never play that way when we sim, but if he did, he would be a monster. Can't give that up. And this could be a mistake. I'm wondering what would happen if we went with press man-to-man coverage. We get beat. I've decided, though, we're going to play to the outside and just watch for any in-breaking routes. I left the running back open, and we're going to lurk him. Eventually, they thought that they could throw that. Little makes the play, and he is a little bit too slow to finish this off. Never mind, he makes it all the way. Ronnie Little with the play of the game, helping us probably win this Mountain West Championship. I don't want to guarantee it because San Jose State, currently on a 3rd and 18, will get half of it back. And I was going to say even if we stopped them on 4th down, they'd still have a chance, but they're just going to punt it to us, and their punter is going to kick it about as high as he can. I don't understand it. We have a solid running back that can take this carry for many 1st downs. And in case they somehow forgot, we can always remind them about Ringo's legs too. Roger did get stopped there, but he shouldn't have pulled it this time. He's going to fumble it. There's just no way, dude. EA is testing my patience right now. They are testing it hard. But listen, I had homemade boneless wings for dinner. Mom cooked. She cooked so hard. One of the best meals she makes. It was worth going to their house for it. Not just to see family, but of course for the wings. And it's got us playing a different type of way. That defensive stop is going to help us close out this conference championship. And this just cannot be real. We've gotten Ohio State in the 1st round. I don't care if we get to host. We've gone from having to play Georgia in the quarterfinal last year to having to play Ohio State. And if we somehow get through them, then undefeated number 1 Michigan in the quarterfinal. I just don't even feel hope for us to get to the semifinals this season. Even though Roger Ringo had 39 passing touchdowns, 3 picks, he's got to return for his senior year. Without Reed Shazer, returning, though, he might not have a running back to lean on. 5 seasons spent with the Cowboys. Again, whenever he got injured midway through his career, being able to redshirt him was a huge deal. It's going to raise his draft stock a ton. Jeremy Soliday was our #1 receiver, ahead of Ramen Mooney as a senior. Jamison Hepburn also took a step back. We got elite dev on this right edge, so that is a very solid start to this recruiting class. At least one of these guys will have elite dev. That's going to be 2 of them on a right tackle this time, and it looks like Leonard Tam is just impact. It's okay, though. I think we're still going to have another season to search for a quarterback if we wanted one, averaging 40 points per game this year. We're just going to hopefully step it up next season. And there it is. For the first time while using Wyoming, we finally get to play in the snow. There is clips of B-roll to put in the intro of the snow, which is a good thing, because I know you all enjoy the snow just as much as I do. It is beautiful. I'm hoping by the 4th quarter, this game is going beautifully. If we're down by like 21, I don't know how I'm going to save it. And you know what? Winning this game at home is very doable. First play, we're going to find Jamison Hepburn. He just sat in that space underneath for 6. Is the Ohio State defensive line getting through? No, they are not. If we really want, we could always mix in an RPO too. But I was really locked in on trying to make a read there. Just take our check down, turn around sooner. We might be settling for a field goal, though they're not on Soliday. Soliday is in the end zone. Jump into that snow, make a snow angel in there, do whatever you want. Go play in the snow, buddy. I want there to be a celebration in college football 27, where as a team, we put in the effort to just start building some snowmen. Or even better, we're allowed to pick up snowballs and just start heaving them at the few opposing stands in the crowd. I don't care what violations that would be. There is nothing crazier than what I'm about to show you all, though. I just noticed it. The name popped up and it rung a bell. We're playing against Demetrius Sora. Our former quarterback transferred to Ohio State and is good enough to start for them, and I'm not worried anymore. We get Ohio State off of the field on 3rd and 10. We have 6 minutes left in this game to burn through as much clock as possible and hopefully beat Ohio State in front of these fans. But it's not going to be simple unless the blocking's like that. That's the most effective I think the counter has ever looked for us. 2nd and inches, easy to convert here. And just keep on milking that clock. Let our 91 speed quarterback take off for 10. We still need a couple more solid plays. And maybe it wasn't the right read to throw it there, but we can QB sneak for the first. I like giving running backs carries like this where they can get a full head of steam going. The Reed Shazer isn't known for his speed. He only has like 88 and he's down 5 speed due to wear and tear. It's going to be 3rd and 6 and they go with man-to-man coverage, but they had us locked up there. And this punt is going to go out of bounds at like the 10. If this is where we lose to our former quarterback, is he drives all the way down against us, I'm just going to be salty. No, not like this. Not like this. It really feels like it's happening. Minute on the clock. Hang on. Can we force this fumble? It's going to be 4th and 3. And we're going to have to back up our guys from pressing real quick. Hang on. We got everyone set. I don't want to pull the safety down that far. We're stuck on the defensive line. Panicking. We hit him while he throws. But what are we doing? Why are we playing that far backed off? Why? I don't know what it is the computer does, but they just seem to be magnets to the ball, and it all works out for them when they need it to. So just like that, we're trailing by 3. If we're going to beat Ohio State, we are going to need a miracle. We're trying to move on in the playoffs, and that's a solid start. There is nothing more beautiful than a snow game like this in Wyoming, but only if you're able to come out on top. Getting out of bounds is crucial, and it's going to give us a chance to mix in a halfback screen to one of our most talented players. The blocks are solid. He has the speed to get an extra little cut. And I'll tell you right now, we are not playing for overtime. We want to win this game. We might have to take our check down, but we still have all of our timeouts. So far, so good. It looks like Ohio State might bring a little bit of pressure here, but we've got our comeback to Jamerson. And that leaves us with 2 chances at reaching the end zone. This first play is just going to be a quick throw. We snag it. Ohio State is going down in the playoffs. How does it feel to lose at Wyoming? It is incredible. The scenes are beautiful. We could not have had it any better than this. Fans get to celebrate in the snow just like us. And truthfully, they're probably a little bit cold. But I've been wanting to feel something, and that game right there has got me going. Not all news is good news, though. We have lost our offensive coordinator, which means we're going to have to hire from a group of solid prospects. And it turns out with a strategist like this, he's pretty replaceable. Hang on, though. We could also bring in a talent developer. I actually think I'd rather do this. It's a tough decision to make, but we know if we go strategist, more of our guys are going to stick around. You know what? We're just going to go with this. I think if our player development gets too good, guys are just going to transfer out, or they're going to leave for the NFL early. And San Jose State has not joined us in the next round, I have a hard time believing we're getting to the semifinal. We saw what happened against Ohio State, though. By the time we got to the fourth quarter, we were still in it. And it's just almost impossible to overcome an 18-point deficit, but we're getting close. 14 rushes for 26 rushing yards is a really rough day for Reed. It's how he's most likely going to go out. And here we go. It's 4th and goal. The bubble is just making it. Now, logically, I'm not sure that going for it here does much for us, especially since we can't seem to stop Michigan, and we're giving that up again. There's only 3.5 minutes left. Out of frustration, I called our first timeout, and it's because I wanted us to regroup and realize we give up a touchdown, it's done. It's still a 17-point game. It doesn't matter that they're pressing us over there. In fact, I don't think we turn this into a touchdown, and we just got put into an impossible scenario. I mean, look at how they're clamping up against our senior best receiver. Okay, maybe he's like our 3rd best receiver. He's an 87 overall, though. Pick 6. I'm looking up to the roof of my ceiling. What does this do? I'm so stunned. We just got beat so bad. I'm sitting here pretending like I'm looking around a stadium and there's fans there that are just disappointed. No one is up there. You all are all right there, looking right at you. But don't put all the blame on me. It's not my fault we keep getting the 8 seed and we have to play the best team in the country in the second round. I mean, Michigan went to the title before losing to Georgia, and they have been on a crazy run over the last 5 years. They've won 4 of the last 5 title games. If we're going to be successful in this 10-year rebuild, we still have 2 seasons to win it all. But it seems like we are going to lose a couple players, mainly just quarterbacks or receivers that aren't happy with their playing time, and then one of our best corners. Lee Rambo and Derek Vernon are already graduating, so we don't want to see Otis Willingham go as well. If we get strategist, though, it's not going to make a difference. He's gone either way. Our playing style wasn't what he wanted, and I have to decide where we're going to go in the future. Do we go down talent developer? We have 166 coach points to spend. We could also go down Scheme Guru more still. And I guess we could only be a talent developer if one of these projected picks was going to be in the first round, but of our best players like Reed Shazer leaving us, they're not. I'm not quite sure what happened to cause him average 1 less yard per carry this season versus last, but it dropped his draft stock a little bit, and Ramen Mooney was another one of those key contributors every season for us. I thought it'd be enough for him to be at least a 7th round pick, but he didn't get drafted to the NFL. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but we're going to get 5-star Rashawn Hewitt unless Oregon starts putting hours into him. As for guys that want to transfer here, any 4-star that wants to play is welcome to be added to our board. We'll put hours into them. And since our school grades have gone up so much alongside our team prestige, where we have 3.5 stars, we're going to have over 1,000 hours to spend a week. Since I don't have much information to guess a lot of these hard sells off of, I'm expecting us to lose a lot of these battles for the 4 stars. But my go-to main guess for the hard sells has been primetime player, just because I've noticed a lot of the 4 and 5 stars we've recruited over the years have cared about this. It actually worked out quite well on a guy like Anthony Drew, who's the number 13 player in the class. Right now, we are in front of Oregon. But on some of our other guesses, it just guaranteed that we weren't going to win the battle. And I've been shocked at the battles that I thought we were going to win, but North Texas is going to instead. You'll see it on at least 1 player. You might see it on 2. And thankfully, it is just going to be Jalen Gata. For some of the other losses, Oregon, Notre Dame, USC, Michigan. I mean, these are respectable teams to lose 4-star transfers to. And we found a couple corners with star development that should be around for a few seasons. Plus, we didn't want to sign that large of a class anyway, so I'm happy with what we got. It's not going to be a top 12 class, but it is going to finish inside the top 20. And I'd say our biggest position of need is running back, which means we got to convert a receiver. I just feel like one of these guys, especially the gadget archetype, is going to convert over well. That'd give us an 84. And I know it might look like this team is really solid, especially for the Mountain West, which it is, but I don't know if it is capable of winning a national title. At running back, Ron Henderson is up to an 89 overall, which is great. At receiver, we are clearly covered here. I mean, even Eric with his elite dev has jumped up 12 overalls. But then you have positions like corner where we take a little bit of a step back. If we have any injuries here, the drop off is going to be sudden. At least we have a solid defensive back on one side. But I just know that is not better than what some of the top teams in the country have. And part of the reason for that is our roster is still more young than old. At least what we've learned, if we're starting ranked inside the top 20, we still have room to lose a game and make the playoffs. playoff. And I can guarantee I am not starting any true freshmen in Season 10, so if there's any holes we have to fill, we'll use the transfer portal. In the first game of the season, Roger Ringo set the Wyoming single-game passing touchdowns record. So in our 77-7 win against FCS West, he threw for 8 of them. Then I think we have Boston College and Arizona as our other 2 non-conference games. We decided to simulate against the Eagles, but we should probably play against Arizona. Then we're going to hop in against San Jose State, and the final game we'll hop into might be Colorado State. We can't let them have our number in Season 9. We've been building a team that is really good. Then there's the discussion of where to spend our almost 200 coach points. I think it's going to be a mix of tactician and motivator. Turns out I really wasted this being one of the games that I wanted to play because we have done whatever we have wanted versus the Wildcats. Darren Strange isn't even a good tight end. He's a sophomore. He's like an 80 overall. But he was making snags in this game as we win 49-3. To follow that up, we get to host San Jose State, who's opened up the season 5-0, number 18 in the country. Clearly, even as a 74 overall, they're building something. But I have to figure out what is the key to their success. And their roster, you know what? For a 74 overall, this is far better than that. It might not be on our level, but it is much higher than other teams in the Mountain West. And I can understand if they're signing guys that turn out to be that good, they're going to win a lot. I will say there is a fun aspect about this team. We have a 98 speed receiver, and Drew is just running straight by some of those Spartan defenders. They might be high overalls, but they're not fast. Unfortunately, I don't think that's something we'll be able to have much success with in the playoff. And outside of Jamison Hepburn, who we found and developed, it really is these portal additions that have made our offense a lot better. It is time for us to just start simulating games. In fact, we go a few weeks into the future, no reason we shouldn't have 8 wins. And sure enough, we won each one of these games comfortably. We're ready for our matchup against Colorado State, who is 7-1. They're another one of the smaller schools that have found themselves success in this video. It just stinks that they're a rival, not ranked inside the top 25 though. While San Jose State is at number 15 at 8-1, their only loss is to us. We currently have Alexander Folkerts, our right tackle, who was a 5-star we recruited a couple years ago, out with a broken wrist, and we're missing a tackle that's a backup. But we are not dealing with many injuries at all, and I think we're going to crush the Rams. We're giving them the respect that we didn't last year. We're actually playing this game instead of simulating. I won't lose. Though it does help, this is the position that we get to start this game in. There's no way. There's just no way that they're pressing over there. We are going to burn them with Drew. Except they were good enough to knock that ball out. Maybe we should go for a huge rushing play, get some playmakers mixed in there. I mean, we're just doing anything random. I'm trying to have some fun. Point is, I could continue simulating the rest of this fourth quarter. I don't need to run out the clock or worry about it. We had a comfortable enough lead to beat Colorado State. For our final 3 matchups, as long as we don't mess up, we might find ourselves in a position competing for a first-round bye. And look at that. We're number 5 in the country as we go to Air Force to end the season. We just have to move up 1 more spot. I really don't think that we're going to lose. If Notre Dame gets that first-round bye over us, I'm going to be salty because they don't deserve it. We would have gone undefeated. And all that we could do is just take care of business on our end, but this final score scares me. You know what type of score should be more scary though? It's Nebraska losing 66 points to 0 against Iowa. They were the number 3 team in the country. I just can't believe that was an actual result. We all knew that we'd be facing San Jose State in this conference championship. And at least this could turn into a quality win that keeps us in a top 4 position. As the 4 seed though, one of the problems that would come with that is we're just going to play the 5 seed most likely in the quarterfinal. So it might not have to be against the number 1 team in the country like some of our matchups in recent years have been, knocking that out on 4th downs big. But we would still be going up against a top 5 team, and that could be a program like Ohio State. I haven't really paid that much attention to the polls and who is ranked where. We should have thrown a pick. Our offense hasn't been that impressive against San Jose State, but we're still going to win by a few possessions. I told you all a long time ago we were going to run the Mountain West for a long time. And during that win, we opened up Scheme Guru with our 8th top 25 win of the video, so now we can max out some of these positions for tactician. But after doing that, of course, what I really wanted was some of this Scheme Guru stuff. Actually, we needed to get ground and pound offense going for more of the benefits. Pass game defense is pretty solid too. So I messed that up. I felt like we had more coach points than we did. North Texas had a receiver win the Heisman Trophy. They've been doing pretty well in recruiting. Was that the kid that we lost out on in the portal, actually? It might have been. I can't remember what his name was. I feel like it was different than this, though. I don't think it was the same guy. Okay, this makes me feel a little bit better. It wasn't. He's been at North Texas his entire career. In fact, he had more receptions as a sophomore. And I'm not sure why they're not one of the teams in this playoff. We get the winner of Louisville and Arizona State. This is actually an incredible draw. Also, how is UConn in the playoff as a 6th seed? It doesn't even make sense, but you know what makes less sense to me? Why was Roger Ringo not in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy? He had 47 passing touchdowns with only 1 interception. He was able to do that while Ron Henderson still rushed for over 1,200 yards, basically 100 yards per game. We also spread the ball out to our tight end and 3 different receivers. But I just feel like we got disrespected in not being in that Heisman running. I'm not sure what more he could have done. Arizona State is going to beat Louisville by 18 points. UConn also doesn't beat Iowa. I was watching out to see what happened there with this first game against the Sun Devils. It feels like a nice little warm-up, though we were on a bye and they're still hot. It is our best opportunity to make it to the semifinals, though. We haven't had good luck with that so far. And if this is the position that we're going to be in against Arizona State, I'm not feeling great about our odds of winning at all. However, how are teams going to handle Drew? Looks like they're going to have some help back. We're just going to roll out, wait until he gives up on guarding Ron Henderson, and this is where being a former receiver helps. Listen, I'm not here to run a real offense. I'm here to win a national championship with Wyoming. That was a bad read. What we are trying to achieve already is unrealistic enough. Are we getting man-to-man coverage here? No, we're getting zone, which is where we can't scramble. And they might just be holding us to a field goal unless we can make a play with Ringo's legs. It looked like that guy wasn't going to get over soon. And then they got the John Mackey Award tight end winner sitting there in man-to-man coverage. We'll have that all day. The best part about Darren Strange is he will be returning the next season. They had someone open for a first down. They're still going to make it there. So much for potentially getting an easier playoff game since it's Arizona State. They have not been fun to face. 3rd and 7, quarters coverage. Are they going to force it to that route? They tried to. And we're actually going to go with some cover 2 man here just because we haven't run it much in this game. No way. They were expecting zone. They did not think that we'd pull out man-to-man there. I mean, we run it so rarely throughout the season. It's going to be a huge run for Henderson too. So it has taken 9 years, but we are cracking our way on to the semifinal, especially if we're getting another first down. All it's going to take is one more. Since they've gotten us to a 3rd and 13, we're not even going to score here. We beat the press so effortlessly. I don't know where that was most of the game, but that gets us a win in the Fiesta Bowl. We are 2 games away from a championship. We're reaching the climax of this video. We got Oklahoma in the next round. And one thing you can't do when you're reaching that point is stop. Just keep on doing exactly what you're doing. It's good advice. I thought we were going to have to face off against number 1 Florida, but this draw is a little bit more favorable for us. Hopefully we beat the Sooners, though they are looking like a very strong team. I think this one is going to be another tight finish. Oklahoma has it with 5.5 minutes left, and they're exactly where they want to be. If they don't convert on 3rd down, they're just going to kick a field goal here and tie this game up at 17. We're in the driver's seat. First play of this drive is about 10, and they better have some safety help over top, which is exactly what they do. But it won't matter as long as Drew just cooks both of these kids. How fast is he? I'm pretty sure they ran into each other, which definitely helped. But still, that was a huge play, and we got them on a 4th and inches. This is dream scenario for us. I think they're going to hand this ball off, and we're just going to hopefully time this right. Hand it off. Hand it off. Okay, we've given up a touchdown potentially. Break this ball up, and we're all good. You know, I was going to diss and say that was an insane thing to do on 4th and inches, but I'd probably do the same thing. In fact, I can recall multiple times where I have done that in a rebuild, so I won't say anything. All we need now is to convert on 3rd and 6, and this one is over. We might be doing it with our legs. Ringo is going to end it. And Wyoming is moving on to the national championship. We might not even need a season 10 to win our first natty. And the matchup is going to be against Notre Dame, who I was dissing for being ranked above us. I said since we're undefeated and we've beat a top 15 team twice this season, we deserve that spot. They have 2 losses, but we have to prove it. And I don't like that they just dropped 55 points on number 2 USC. But again, they got to stop Anthony Drew. Do they have an answer for the fastest receiver? That is what we're about to find out. All around, I've loved this rebuild. I thought the pace of it was perfect. And we've had some major signings that have really changed the course of how things would go if we didn't have them. Big 2nd and goal hold. You would think that they were just going to get in, but now they have to work for it, and they actually ran it there. That was a crazy call, but I guess they knew it was 4-down territory. They have tied it up with 6 minutes left, and Roger Ringo is living up to the occasion. He's got 3 touchdowns in this game, no interceptions. he's going to call a crazy audible or last second little adjustment. If this kid from Iowa ends up blowing the national championship with an interception, it's on him. There will be zero accountability. There will be no responsibility taken. Back foot throw. I mean, they should be knocking that out. But what is Notre Dame's answer for 3rd and 7? First read is going to be strange. If he's not there, you know, they had a QB spy. And that was some of the best prep for one of my favorite plays ever. 9 out of the 10 times I've ran it in this video, I feel like I've had success with it. Don't throw that hitch. We've given up a first down, but he did not see it. Okay, we're going to back up Thomas just in case they have some speed over on that side. We're protecting the sticks. 4th and 9, game on the line. I couldn't get a stunt in, but we just don't want to give up a big gain. And I thought he was going to catch that off of the deflection there. If that would have happened and they got the first, I don't even know the words to describe what I would have done. But this game is not over. It is now 3rd and 15. We are most likely punting this football back to Notre Dame unless we get a huge play on the ground. Do we have it? We don't. Okay, sometimes in life, you have to take risks. You have to send it, and we're sending it straight up the middle. No regrets. We can take a knee. We can seal this championship. And Roger Ringo is going to go out with it as a senior. I could not have had a more perfect storybook ending for him. But can we do it again? Are we going to win back-to-back? As a 10-year rebuild, it was an incredible run for Roger, but I feel like it's only right that we give one more season to the Cowboys to win without him. And he is one of the many players that we are going to miss. I think we're losing all 3 of our star receivers from this team because Jamison Hepburn, there's no reason for him to come back for a senior year. He's a projected first-round pick. Alexander Folkerts isn't going to return either. And neither is Damian Whittle, a junior corner who still had another season ahead of him. Adonis Brake doesn't want to come back. We're losing a couple more transfers, so we need to reload a little bit. But you have seen some of the teams I've won championships with. Typically, we put like 20, 30 players into the NFL. We did not have to do that at Wyoming, though. I thought we were going to raise our conference prestige a little bit more, but we could never pass the American. And hang on, another thing I just noticed is our championship contender is sitting at a B+, and our team prestige fell from 3.5 stars to 3 stars after we won a national championship. That has to be a bug. It's another thing that's not working, just like Stadium Atmosphere will barely update. That's frustrating, especially since I know some of you all have long-term Dynasty files where you want to build up a school, and if that feature just isn't working, what's the point? There's just a lot of stuff I'm hoping to see addressed in College Football 27. We lost out on 5 recruiting battles. I think we went after 16 total players, so it's not bad. We got like 2/3 of them. We found elite dev on another tackle. I feel like offensive linemen just have the best dev traits, though normal dev on Malik Blum is a huge issue. He's the quarterback I decided we were going to rock with, and I don't even know if he's going to be our starter. After training results, it might be Monty Irvin. But I'll tell you what, we might have a 99 overall running back. This gadget receiver becomes a 96. It still feels like the biggest hole on this team, though, is going to be our defensive backs. We need a free safety, and that's going to have to come from moving one of these corners over. 84 isn't worth it. So we had to move Trey Rainbolt instead. I stand firmly on the fact that coverage specialist is by far the best archetype you can have on a safety. Anyway, after all is going to be said and done, Darren Strange gets a dev trade upgrade. He should. He won an award. But we're getting less dev trade upgrades than we did back when we were getting like 2 stars on the team, 99 overall running back like we predicted. Overall wise, this roster is better than what we had. But we got a lot of talent stacked at a couple positions, and our quarterback room just isn't impressive. We're being forced to start Malik Blum, who could have gotten his accuracy a lot higher than he did. He also only has 86 throw power. And even after going undefeated, winning the national championship last year over Notre Dame, we're going to open up this season as the number 7 team in the country. We're a 99 overall. So we still have a good bit to prove, though spending our coach points on upgrading our passing game tactician spot might be the best use ever. For a pass-heavy offense, that could save our season. We're just going to sim through the entire regular season. I trust that we're going to get to the playoffs. If we don't, we didn't deserve it. And look at that. With a dominating win over number 17 North Texas, with a good win over San Jose State on the road, we are undefeated again, coming off a national championship, winning most of these games extremely comfortably, 12-0, just like how we thought this year would go, except we're ranked number 8 in the country. We're falling down in the polls for winning. It's actually mental. Our blue chip ratio is solid as well. San Jose State didn't play 8 conference games, which I don't understand because the only rule for this conference was play every single game on the schedule, so that's another thing that's been messed up. But in this case, it's actually good news for us because we get to avoid them in the conference championship. During conference championship week, we're going to beat Hawaii by 8 points, a little bit closer than I was thinking, and we move up to number 6. So now we have to win 4 straight games to have a chance at repeating. Even though we got to be a top 4 seed last year, even though we won it all, we have to work for it harder this season than the year before. I'm just going to simulate to the national championship too. I hope to see us there. Our offense averages 47 points per game. But you know what? Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe we were properly rated. Auburn scored 45 points on us, so we didn't even make it back to the quarterfinal. Though they ended up being the national champion, so we still lost to a really good team. Malik Blum had 12 interceptions, 51 touchdowns. The only thing that separates him from our QB last year was he turned the ball over a lot more. Alani Durrell was a good running back, and we were successful through the air like you would expect. I mean, we passed for a ton of yards. It was still a solid 10-year rebuild. I mean, Wyoming having a top 15 winning percentage over that time frame is something to be proud of. A lot we accomplished as well. And before the season started, we had 18 players drafted. Clearly even more NFL talent on this team than the one before, but I didn't play those playoff games. Looks like we probably finished with about 30 players drafted in the NFL. And I hope you all had a good time spending whatever day you're watching this on with me as we rebuilt Wyoming. I always enjoy doing these longer rebuilds, even more than the shorter ones. If there's another team that you want to see this with as we just sit here in the off season, let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far, might as well click on another one of my rebuilds.